give it a little... Guess what, Ryan Santos? We're live.
Oh.
We are live.
All
You're
right.
in the Junkyard Love podcast, my brother.
Yeah, the Junkyard Love podcast.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I thought that I was going to have some crazy, cool, like, just artistic name, like extension of Junkyard Love, because I thought of that a while ago. But I don't know. Junkyard Love podcast has been kind of sticking.
No, yeah, I love it. I mean, it just makes me think of, it's a lot of things that you want to talk about that are, just random stuff,
Just a junkyard of stuff.
Yeah, junkyard, you know, another man's junk is someone else's treasure.
Yeah, exactly,
But
man.
this one's a yard of treasurely love.
Treasurely love. Welcome to the yard of treasurely love. Like, I feel like this is like if you were introducing some sort of like, I feel like I should say that at the beginning of my podcast, like, welcome to the yard of treasurely love. Ladies and gentlemen, where we have the...
But then that would be like, those old radio shows back in the day where it's like the late night radio of, hey, baby.
Hello,
what do
baby.
you want to talk about?
Yeah.
What's your... What was that one
Welcome
movie?
to the late show.
Yeah.
It's just somehow Junkyard Love is dang it.
Yeah.
Junkyard Love is now a sexual podcast. By the way, we only talk about sex.
Yeah. And you asked the wrong person for that. I don't even know what that is.
He's a virgin, yes.
Yes.
No, actually, so Ryan Santos, my friend.
Hello, people.
Yeah, welcome everybody, Ryan Santos. This has been a good friend of mine for quite some time. We worked together at a tuxedo rental place back when I was in high school. He's a few years ahead of me, but I was in high school. We worked and met at a tuxedo rental place in the mall called Mr. Formal Tuxedos. And we had some adventures. And I had to have Ryan on the podcast just because he's been one of the more positive, influential friends in my life. Just like always, regardless of the crazy shit we've been through, he's just been like... I mean, don't you have to keep smiling tattooed on your wrist?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you.
Amazing person.
Thank you for that, Jake. I mean, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you asking me to be on this show, and it's been an honor to be your really good friend. I mean, I've never not thought about you and make sure you're doing all right. And man, our little adventures when we first became friends have been insane. And obviously I'm here for a reason, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad. I think as dorky and simple as it sounds, I'm glad for the world to meet you. I don't really know where this podcast is gonna go. Like, I don't, like I want as many people to listen to it as they think is valuable. I don't want anybody to listen to it just because they know who I am or know my DJ world, whatever. I just want people to listen to it with value. And so I like all the guests that I have on here is just like, who is someone who like it's valuable every time I talk to them, and you definitely fit that category. So
for sure, that's how I feel about you, man. Every time we get together, we just talk for hours. So, but now that we're on here, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do we even talk about?
Right?
Like, is this right to talk about now? Because we talk about some crazy things sometimes.
No, I think that I mean, this will be among the first 20 episodes. I have quite a few stacking up now. This will be among the first 20, but I think after a while, after it becomes a regular thing, people understand, like, okay, like, Jake and his friends and the people around him are just like, they talk about crazy stuff sometimes. Like, they're not crazy. They just let themselves talk about crazy stuff, So, dude, if somehow this whole conversation we talk about aliens, like, we're gonna talk about aliens, baby.
Oh, don't
like,
get into that because I listen to too many podcasts and I do research on. Lately,
I fucking love that stuff. Have you watched they have on Netflix, like the Bob Lazar, like Area 51?
I started like the first 10 minutes of it, but it was one of those I put it on and I fell asleep.
I did the same thing, actually.
Oh man, it looks really good.
Yeah, actually, I don't know a ton about it, honestly. I have friends who have watched it, and then he was on like the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff. So I don't know a ton about it, but essentially I think he worked at Area 51 for a little bit, and then he like was a whistleblower, like said like, hey, I worked at Area 51, here's what I saw.
But who hasn't though? And all those things are like, I used to work at Area 51. I'm like, how did you even come out and do this interview then? You would be
what
dead.
What are you doing?
They would come after you and your family.
Did you not work? Ooh, I might have shut off my mic. Can you still hear me loud and clear?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just
saying. Yeah, you're good.
So something about this headphone, like I don't know if this little headphone thing that I got from Amazon is like it doesn't support very much. So if I do too much movement, it's like, no, I'm scared. Power mode, like protect mode, whatever.
Dude, don't trust Amazon, man. That's another one.
I know. Have you noticed that the reviews on Amazon are just like, you can't trust, like, it's something we used to go to trust, but now we know it's all fake. It's written for other shit.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you get really popular. I mean, not really popular, but like the amount of people using or buying from your like store or whatever, it gets stupid after that. It's like, oh, we got you. We hooked you in. Guess what? Right? Now we can sell whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, we're gonna tell you what you want now.
Yeah, that's what I don't like either. Is like
fucked up.
You may also like these items.
Right. It's like, yeah, like you could have liked them, but you're fine without knowing they exist. How about that?
Yeah.
Like so you've more than recent. I mean, you weren't super into social media, I don't feel like. But you've had social media for like as long as I have. Like we've both definitely had our shirtless pictures together on social media.
Oh,
we've shared this.
Oh yeah, I mean every year that for some reason the reason why I kept sharing it is because it came up like memories, on Facebook. I'm like,
it's such a good time in our life. So.
Oh, that was such a funny day too. Yeah. Like
we have this photo. Anybody just listening, we have this photo that when we worked at Mr. Formal, like we were both working out and we were like just fresh bromies, and we would stand in like in the place where like you go to get married for your wedding, and we were just like peace symbols up in the shirt or in the mirror, shirtless, both of us, I think.
Typical like 2009 or something. 2000.
I was wearing Hollister pants with holes in them for sure. like they were fresh off the press, fresh holes, freshly made in the factory.
And you had you were still in high school, right?
I was still in high school.
Yeah, and you had that big ass tattoo.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was like 17 when I got my first. So my right side, that was my first tattoo.
How did that? Okay, hold on. Now that I really think about it, how did that even go down? Oh
man, it keeps cutting out.
Yeah,
okay,
you're good.
Okay, yeah, but my I don't know, my life is just different. My tattoo artist, this was like so long ago, but my tattoo artist was like literally a lady who had changed my diapers. Like my family, I grew up in like a tattoo family.
Oh, okay.
And so they would really have tattoo parties as I was growing up. And so when I was younger, I remember getting all 10 of my nails tattooed at some point, and that was some like cool badass thing.
Wait, anyway, what you got?
Yeah, nails. You can get your nails tattooed. It's hot. It's warm. Yeah, but it doesn't cause pain. Like it's more just kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly how they do it. I don't remember how the person did it, but I think it's just a regular amount of needles. But I got that when I was a kid, so I thought that was super cool. And then I was like, no, I don't want any tattoos. Like it's too permanent. I don't want it. Yeah. And then I got to this point where I was at this very like one of the very rebellious stages of my young life, and I was like, I do want a tattoo. And so it was a family friend, but she's a good tattoo artist.
That's awesome.
Did all legit. But yeah, my whole right side. And you can imagine being like a 16-year-old dude with abs, like who has a tattoo on his right side. I was just like such a turd. I was such a turd. I just turned into, do you girls want to see me with my shirt off? Because you're going to, as I'm driving by.
Yeah.
Anywhere I'm going, I'm just.
If you're willing to take your shirt off for a photo in a tuxedo place after hours with your bro, I think you're willing to take your shirt off anywhere. That's the thing.
Yeah, like the things you do, like oh, there's a customer. Like this would be during hours. Imagine if you walk into any place, you're going into a bakery, and you're like, I'm gonna go get some donuts, and you're like, excuse me, hello, and you glance in the back room, and the employees are just taking shirtless photos.
Typical.
Like, can I get a
donut? No, oh my gosh.
That's what we did to
that's
poor
basically.
People.
Oh wait, how many stupid things have we done in that place? That's the thing.
We've done a lot of stupid places. Okay, what do you think is what's the coolest story you can think of from working at Mr. Formal when we were in high school? So baseline, this is Mr. Formal in the mall, the Kelso Mall, Two Rivers Mall, fairly dead at times, but like it was probably the one tuxedo rental place. If you go to prom or you're having a wedding, that's where you go in town from our general area.
Oh yeah, for sure. They had that place where we worked at, and then they have like the rents and events. that you could get tuxedos too, but I never heard anyone go in there unless
Yeah,
you
we
were
always heard
like
negative stuff about them. I don't know if that was like just because our attitude with our job, but
well, we were. I mean, come on, dude, we were the best.
yeah,
and then they only had like limited shit to like, here, do you want to look like you just got done doing an orchestra? Come
like, yeah, cool coattails. That's funny. They're like, yeah, well, we were going to go to special events, and we're like, yeah, if you want to look like a fucking idiot. We just talk people out of it. We don't even know anything about it.
And that's what the tattoo is on his stomach.
Yeah.
That's what it is, people. If you're listening right now, you can quote me on that. It says that. But anyways, yeah, the craziest thing that has ever happened at Mr. Formal, I think it was when I smoked weed in the bathroom.
Oh no!
During the day.
We did that. No, I did that too. We would.
No, but that was after hours. I did it during the day, during hours.
I feel like I probably participated in that. You know, like it's not something I'm like proud of. You know, it's a laughable moment now. You know, I feel like it seems so insane. You know, saying that we would smoke weed or something like while we were working. Like, I think just in our world, the world that we grew up in, like I really genuinely wouldn't say that we're bad people, bad kids, bad, like, you know, we had it together. Like I was and you were both like higher up in commissions in the company. Like we did well. We showed up to our job on time. Like,
oh, for sure.
It's so funny thinking back of all like the little shit stuff we did, you know?
Yeah.
But we were able to kind of keep it afloat. Like I'm no advocate for smoking weed in the bathroom as you're trying to work, but it is so funny that the importance of like, dude, like we've been such good friends for so long, but I think it's because we really went out of our way back in the day, like in much formal times, to like hang out and like build a connection. Like,
oh yeah,
like we were friends. Like we didn't have to be friends. We were from different worlds, but like we hung out outside of work. We have, not that smoking weed in the bathroom is the best way to form a connection with your coworkers, but hell, if that's what you got handed to you.
I mean, like there's not much to do in Longview, Kelso, or just even in the Cowles County area at the time. You know, there is now, I mean, things that are available, but back then we just had to make our own fun, and I think that's exactly what we did. And you know, like you said, we didn't have to be friends, but you know, definitely it's hard to be good friends with your coworkers because the things that you can bring into like imagine if we didn't hit it off or something working out. It's like then we would have to go to work.
Yeah, and
like,
dread that.
Yeah, and like, oh my god, dude, you fucking suck. I don't like you. You know.
I mean, I think that we all did. I mean, even with our bosses, like we, you know, it's work, but we all did based off of our personalities, based off of like who we were, and like just like we didn't all go into it saying we're all the same. Like, we're all very different people.
Oh yeah.
Like, even our bosses, like we would joke around with our bosses. You know, like we would be very, very different people, like listen to different music, different hairstyles, different clothes, whatever. Yeah. But I feel like just our personalities, we go into work and say, how do we make this fun? Yeah. Like, no, you can't always smoke weed with your manager, unfortunately, but dang.
Yeah, I know, too bad.
Yeah, I think it is important for everyone to like really realize your role. Like, dude, it doesn't matter just because you're not a manager at a store. Like if you're an employee, if you're a new employee, old employee, you kind of got a job, man. Like remember, like, yeah, you're spending your time there, but everybody around is spending their time too. Like you can make your job fun. You can go a little bit extra. You can pay $12 on Wednesday and bring some donuts, whatever. I don't know. Like, I think that we did a good job at Mr. Formal of finding our fun.
And dude, we were good. I felt like, dude, we were selling tuxes left and right. It doesn't matter who was walking up. We're like, you need a tux. Yeah. We're going to give it to you.
Dude, we fed off that shit. We were not competitive. If you think about it, a lot of like on TV shows or other places that are like this, they're competitive with each other.
Oh yeah. Definitely being a salesman. Yeah, you have to be.
But we weren't super competitive with each other, against each other though. Like we were like looping each other in, and we're like, oh, how much commission did you get? Oh, hell yeah, dude, I got this much.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it wasn't super against each other. It was like, how can we all do super good? Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like that store killed it.
Oh yeah, well, it's like you said, but whenever we're making a sale, it's not like that other, like if I was making a sale, it's not like you were like sitting in the back. just sitting there or whatever. You would actually come out and help me, like definitely if it's a party or something, you would like come out and help me size them up and like, oh people. Hey, what would you like, you know? And even though that I got the commission, it's like you were still there.
Like because you would help me in the same way. And you know what's funny is it's back then, you know, I feel like the world now we're always like, oh, we'll make sure I get my credit, or like even down to fucking like, oh, hey, I handed you my phone to take a photo and you make sure like photo credit goes to whatever. Yeah. Everybody wants credit for everything. And like, I feel like back then we did a very good job of just, I know that you're here to help me when I need it. So I'm here to help you. Like, even if here to help you means I'm working every day, like more, it seems like whatever, like I just know that you're going to be there for me. Like if there's no credit, there's no like, it's not like we're like, well, hey, how much of that commission do I get? I feel like I remember that.
No,
I feel like we were so cool about that. Like,
yeah, exactly. I don't think we ever like, hey, you owe me this or whatever. That never happened.
I literally don't think we ever even had. I mean, maybe there was some stuff with other people that like we weren't aware of or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like we did a very good job because we had other coworkers who we got along with really well too.
Yeah, Kip,
yeah. Man,
that sucks for him right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to dive into that.
I mean, we can, but let's just say that he is in other places at other times, and he did something really stupid.
Yeah, the fashion bandit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Never thought that would. You know what? When someone showed me that, I was like, "Shut up." Yeah,
Shay and I were. What? We were like, no. Yeah, it's not a real thing. But
not until I saw it on TV.
Right. That's fucking weird, man. Smart dude, a crazy smart guy.
Yeah, one of the like crazy intelligent people that you would meet. He just knew what he wanted. He knew how to get it. Blah blah blah. But now it all makes sense.
Yeah,
he was really good at that for some time. Until you're good at something until you get caught.
Yeah, until you're too good at it. Yeah, until you're a professional at it, and you got to keep doing what you got to do to be a professional.
Yeah, but I didn't think he'd take it to the fashion bandit. Though.
That was fucking hilarious.
Oh man,
I still like mind blown about that. Like, what is it? Like what?
Oh, me too.
That'd be hilarious. That would actually be kind of baller though. Like, oh dang, like I didn't realize I was dressing up. like if you were robbing some stores.
Oh my. Oh, it's okay.
If you were robbing stores.
And like the only thing you can come up with, by the way, is dressing up.
You just look at hella fresh. Like it's. Like, so what did he look like? Honestly, he looked so good, officer. He was dressing.
He was dressed to the nines, but he was wearing women's clothing. But it looked fucking good, though. Like,
yeah, what was he wearing? Honestly, he was wearing a red dress with red high heels. He looked so good, though. I just want to... Can you write that down?
I'm pretty sure
sketch artist make sure they add him. His eyes were so kind.
His eyes are so kind, but what he was asking for was very fucking demanding and dangerous.
He seemed to really want my money.
I don't care, but those shoes were not supposed to come out until next year. But that motherfucker has them.
Somehow he had. Can we get on note that somehow he had the next season shoes? However he got those. If officer, if you could let me know, I really want to get those. They're not even out yet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I do want to like just because we were talking about the Mr. Formal thing, I want to share the story. I want to let you tell it, but the story of when we first smoked weed together, we had worked maybe even one shift together. Is me, you, and another friend.
Oh yeah.
And
good old Zach Johnson.
Right. Yeah. Good guy.
Yeah.
And this is super strange. I got to figure out what's going on with the whole power thing, but yeah, so this is a story. So the reason why I want to share the story, so this cemetery that this situation took place, this is like one of my favorite meditation city lookout spots. I go here like once a week at least, like late at night sometimes.
Like recently?
Yeah, the Mount Brandon graveyard up there.
Yeah, up on top?
Yeah, I go there probably once a week, like meditate up top there. But it's cool going there, like, because sometimes I'll remember that random memory of that night, gosh. And I'll just like get so giggable, like I'll just laugh so hard. It's just so share that memory. So we had worked together 4 or 5 times, if that, 1 or 2 times.
Man, yeah, probably. It's like we've been working for like 2 weeks. I've been working maybe 2 weeks at this job at Mr. Formal, but finally we became friends, good enough friends, because we had that mutual friend that got me the job, Zach.
Right.
And so we all smoked right after in the car, and then we went up to, what was it, Mount Brinion?
Oh yeah,
up to
yeah,
the
Mount
graveyard.
Vernon graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went up top. Oh my gosh, oh, this is so funny.
Oh,
It's such a simple.
it's funny.
story,
a lot of high
whatever.
schoolers used to smoke weed up there too.
Oh,
Like, I had
everybody.
smoked weed up there before.
Yeah, but
when I
your
was
reaction was priceless though. So we get up top, and mind you, this spot, when you get up top, this hill, this like graveyard is like one huge hill. So when you get up top, you could see Longview, you can see Kelso, you can even see all the way over to the Rainier Bridge.
It's breathtaking.
Oh,
it really is. It's one of my favorite spots.
Oh, it's amazing. So we
I
went
was
up
there last
there.
night.
Oh man, I haven't been up there in years. It's been years.
I would love to get you stoned and take you up there.
No, dude, not. I already got freaking almost arrested up there for that shit. Not anymore. But so we go over there, we smoke, checking out this awesome view, and we're starting to leave. And then there's roads in between the graveyards, mind you, so
Yeah,
you
so
can
it's like-
just
it's
drive
like-
all over.
Yeah, it's like gravel. So it's pathways, right?
Yeah.
So it is gravel pathways that you can drive on, like it's regular for a car.
Mm-hmm.
But on your left and your right, like just a few feet, is like literally tombstones. Like you're driving in between tombstones. It's
Which
kinda
is
like a
crazy
gravel
that they
pathway.
made it that way.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Like it's not like you park your car over here and then
Yeah.
you walk into the graveyard. It's like this is a square block radius sort of situation
Yeah.
with the tombstones being the buildings. But,
Yeah, so we're driving down one of the pathways, and all of a sudden me and Zach just hear in the back of the car, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you guys doing that? You guys are driving over the graveyard. Like, or you guys are driving over the tombs. And we just start busting up like, dude, calm down.
I
We're
was
just
freaking
taking a
out, man.
pathway. And mind you, you were at the time 16, and I think 16, 17, and we were 20, 21. And so we're just laughing our out like, dude, this kid is
Dude.
freaking out.
Dude, I was like, okay. So to me, to me, I genuinely thought. So I was like, I probably like talked it up, but I had only been smoking since I was like for a year.
Yeah.
Like, and so I probably talked it up, but I was like probably super high. I was in the back seat of like these two dudes who I think are the coolest fucking dudes ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, we smoked you out too, dude. We smoked a lot up there.
We smoked a ton of weed, and
Yeah.
I was probably just trying to hang equally with them. Like I was
Yeah.
probably like not saying no to a single hit. But as we're driving, like I'm looking forward. I'm sitting in the back seat, like looking through the center console.
Yeah, and mind you, this is it wasn't a big car. It wasn't like you could
we're all
see.
together. Like this. Wait, what car was it? Like an Eclipse or something like it?
It was his like it was a red car that
Red
had
car.
like you can barely see out of the sides and the back anyways.
Yeah, like it's a pretty close.
so
Like,
you
we're
only
all
can see
chilling.
in the front.
Yeah.
Really. And I remember you're just like, because even sitting in the front, it's like hard to see for some reason over the hood kind of thing.
Yeah, you can only kind of see directly what the headlights are piercing on. I think it was kind of later at night. At this
Yeah,
point.
it was
But-
getting kind of late. It was still kind of like light out, but just enough for you
yeah,
to freak
but so,
out.
enough for you- okay, because I genuinely thought. So I looked forward. I was thinking of some sort of crazy high thought, and then I look forward, and I'm 100% convinced we are 4x4ing. We are mobbing over people's graves. Like me, I'm in the backseat holding on because I was so high. I was like, I thought that we were just. Zach was like, "Fuck these graves.
Yeah.
Fuck these people under here. Fuck their corpses. Like
Yeah,
we are just
disrespecting.
Like I literally,
Yeah.
for some reason, it was such a surefire thing to me. I remember it so vividly. Like because I was like, these guys are so cool, and I turned around and I look out the front windshield, and to me, we're driving through graves.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is not right. I will not have a part of this. What the fuck, you
Yeah,
guys?
I remember that.
And it was so funny because you guys like, I freaked out, and then you guys like didn't say anything, and then you let me like chill, and then you said something like, dude, we're fine. We're on the pathway. And it was this sobering moment of me looking forward, and it's like, oh yeah, we're on the pathway.
Yeah, that was funny because we let you like freak out. We're like,
I was like, what, dude? I will not be a part. I will not drive over graves. Like, I don't know. This is not okay to me. Like, but
it
can
was
you imagine how awkward our work relationship would have been if you like that was like you're like, well, this is what we do. We drive over graves.
yeah,
Stone.
yeah. And if we never said anything, it's like, if you fucking say anything about us driving over those graveyards,
Yeah, like that's like most people have
We're-
weird secrets, but you're like,
we have a spot for you out
Yeah.
there.
on Thursday nights after work, we drive over graves.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great memory.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that really broke into like we were hanging out like all the time. since
Oh,
then.
right
We've
after
been
that,
friends since
yeah,
then,
after
so.
that fiasco of being high and not knowing what the hell we were doing as kids.
Yeah.
Like even like though that I was 20 or 21. I can't remember. I think I was 20 because I couldn't go to the bars yet. But even then, I still look at myself as a kid,
right?
Not knowing and just, going to work,
right.
smoking weed all day and not caring about anything.
I mean, we really did, I don't want to be naive about like cornering yourself into a good corner, but like we really weren't. It's not like we were bad people.
Yeah.
We weren't like people in our world, we just live very different lives. Like we had it together. Like you and I, like our store particularly, like in that moment, we were like very good. Like we had high-end sales. We showed up on time. We helped each other out. We enjoyed each other's company. Like our manager was happy. Like we did good at our jobs. We were kind of like turds, Like
definitely.
I was in high school. I had good grades. Like I like all these things that we talk about doing. Like we had it together. It's just a different life than other people. It is. But I think there's a lot of other kids, a lot of other little knuckleheads, a lot of little fuckers right now who are hearing this, or somehow maybe might be hearing this one day, that like are in the same boat.
Oh,
and so
for sure.
I think
it's a never-ending cycle of these kids going through the same things that we are. I mean, it's probably, their situations are totally different, but at the same time, the moral of the story is that, hey, we've done what you've done,
Yeah.
and
like we know it.
You're not the first ones,
Yeah.
Which is sad because everyone's done everything, like we were talking about earlier, like everyone's written that song before, or a variation of that song, and when it comes to doing stupid shit, people have done it before, and you're not alone. Just be safe, yourself. People.
Like, dude,
kids, be safe.
Yeah, man. I really think, like, it sounds dorky. We live in a world where, that's a huge thing I've had to conquer with this podcast, like already, is talking about drugs, talking about drug use, talking about shit that I did that was stupid. Like, as much as that makes everybody very uncomfortable, as much as that's not what you do online, that's there forever. It's like, it really happened. And if I'm going to lie about it, or you're going to lie about it, or whoever's going to not be honest about what actually happened in their life, that's one less thing that a young kid who's experienced the same shit or might experience the same shit now has nothing to look up to. Like, like kids need to know that, like, the stuff that they're doing, like, it's not okay. Like, you're a turd, but like, it is okay.
Yeah.
Like not giving people permission to go out and do drugs, but letting kids know that hey, you're gonna see that thing and you're gonna say it's stupid. Like, do what you need to do. Be as smart as you are right now. Experience what you need to experience, but like, it's gonna be okay if you just
Yeah. And what's hard about that, like, is trying to tell them, hey, if you're gonna do it, be safe. How we were just talking about that we were smoking and driving and
right, of course,
smoking at a place you're not supposed to smoke. That's all bad, and I will not lie about that. That's all bad, but at the same time, those are the memories I would never take back. Those are the things that, oh my gosh, that was so funny at the time, dangerous, whatever you want to call that, not good, but oh my gosh,
right.
I love talking about that every time we like see each other, like, hey, graveyard.
Because, dude, we always remember that shit. It's so funny to me because it was just like, it's such a wonderful first time to like hang out and meet, and like that's the first time we ever hung out outside of work, and it just like made like a brotherly bond. I think a lot of that is, I understand the laws and I understand safety behind like drugs and alcohol and weed and whatever, and I think it all is very important, but I also think that a lot of us are a little more self-reliant than the laws make us seem. Like whether the laws or school or society or whatever wanted me to be completely unaware of drugs until I'm 21, well, I smoked weed when I was 15.
Yeah.
So whether you want me to do that or not, like, I'm around it. Like, whether you want me to pretend it's not there, it's there when I was 12. Like, these things, we can't just pretend that they're not around us.
Yeah, and try to cover it up.
Yeah, I think we should learn about it. And I don't think that like young kids should be using drugs. Like I kind of wish that I had started like drinking and stuff at a later age. But it also, but I think that talking about it and letting kids experience it, and then even as they're young, instead of just waiting till they're 26 or in whatever, like, to talk about it later on.
Yeah, we
can talk about it right now, introspective from our age, and they can say like, oh yeah, like, I'm only 19 and I've been drinking for 2 years, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do it this way, or it's not all this cracked up to be, or whatever. I don't know. It just talking about things that people actually go through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think
pretending
that
that.
people are starting to get it now in this generation, anyways, by all those freaking teen movies that are out. You know, it's so weird because now it's one of those things. It's normal now. You know, like kids are. Oh, this is what I see on TV. It's always been that way, but I feel like I don't know if it's because we're getting older kind of thing. It's like we see it more often now. Maybe it's just because now we don't have those blinders or whatever, or, you know, no one's like telling us like what we can and cannot do being this age now. But for kids, it's out there. I mean, you got your YouTube, you got the movies that like you can just stream off Netflix, and kids are watching all this stuff.
You can know
it's
everything
normal now.
Yeah, it's like you can know, like that whatever drug you can think of that's in your brain, when you learned it when you were 17, now kids who are 9 years old know about it because YouTube. They know about it because social media. They know about it. Like, so this is the thing is kids know about it. We can pretend that they don't.
Yeah.
Or we can talk about our experiences with it.
Yeah.
We can say, hey, here's what I...
Yeah.
Because a lot of these, like... I hate using the sentence, but like a lot of these drugs are helpful. But a lot of these drugs, a lot of these experiences, like... So that experience, like it's not like the weed gave us that experience. Our friendship, our camaraderie, the situation, our laughter, our... You know, like those things break down our ego and make us think dorky things, sure. But like... If drugs can give people those situations, like that's a situation I value with my brothers. Like that's a valuable situation that I had in my life. And
at the time, it was something that was very frowned upon at the time, you know, because weed wasn't legal back then. That we're that old, kids were that old, but
right. Oh, we're gonna have to start saying that. We're gonna have to literally start saying like, oh yeah, this is a story when weed was not legal.
Yeah, it wasn't legal.
They're gonna be like, cool story, man. That's super not interesting.
Yeah, no, yeah, this happened at a time where it was frowned upon, but we were sharing a bond that like, man, so you're brave enough and willing to take the risk of doing something illegal with me. You know, it's one of the, how do you say, it's cool. You have a friend if you're bailing your friend out, right? You have a bro that's sitting next to you in jail kind of thing. It's almost like that bond, but no, people, we don't like to be in jail. I've done that, been there, don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I've actually never been to jail. That's one thing. I don't know if it's a knock on wood situation.
Yeah, knock on wood. I've only been there once.
I'm very level headed. I feel like if like police come around, I'm just like, oh, look who I get to talk to. I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna handle the situation. Like I feel like I've always been that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I've never been like doing anything wrong, but it's funny, you know. You have these little dorky situations, like that same graveyard, the Mount Breeding graveyard.
Yeah.
When I was in high school before this, before we had our venture where I thought we were 4x4ing over the graves, the tombstones, we got caught smoking weed up there when we were young.
Oh my gosh, I didn't hear about this.
This is like I don't remember exactly the details, but I don't remember what jurisdiction it was, anything. But the police officers that came up, and they were behind us and out of their cars by the time we even knew they were behind us. Like we were stuck at the top. Ended up they like made us super scared. They like scared the shit out of us by telling us whatever, and then they took the pipe and the weed. And
it was like that show.
And he chucked it as hard as he could.
Straight.
Is that what it is?
Maybe, I don't know. That's what they're doing to you.
No, that is what they did.
Yeah.
They're like so they like writing down our names, like we're gonna call your parents and all this shit, and like so all the kids in the car are just like, please don't, whatever. And then at the end, what he did, I don't remember exactly, but he literally, I think he took like the weed in the pipe in his hand, and he just cocked back and he chucked as hard as he could into the woods.
Wait, he glittered?
He littered.
Okay, so there's
but I'm saying like this is
did
something.
He or did he not throw the paraphernalia into the shrubbery?
Threw the paraphernalia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's weird though. It's funny. Like I don't condone that now. Like that's but these are the sort of things. Like this is like that's like what your uncle would do. Like if your uncle came in and he's like sees all of you, like the kids smoking weed, he'd be like, hey, I'm not gonna tell your parents, I'm throwing this shit in the woods, get your shit together, don't do this, whatever. Like like the cop kind of did that. I just remember that like it was a very like cool moment, and I'm sure that like now, I mean, he would literally, if like I don't know who it was, I don't remember jury just or nothing, but like he'd probably lose his job over that shit nowadays.
Oh yeah, you definitely can't do that now because now everyone has phones recording the whole situation.
Yeah, they're like, I can get Twitter famous if I record this cop. not getting me in trouble. It's like, okay, well, how about he just like, he doesn't want to get you in trouble, God damn it. Like, he just wants to
a better life for you. It's like, hey, I'm going to set you on the path to righteousness, or his path of righteousness, or whatever. Or, hey, kid, I already know where this leads down to. He's seen it many times, all this stuff. He's like, if I can get to them young, maybe I have made a difference in this kid's life. Or,
dude, exactly. I mean, I obviously don't remember his name. You know, I was a younger punk kid, but like, dude, that moment was crazy. Especially like me not having. I didn't have at that age. I had 0 adults in my life that I trusted. 0. And so like, cop, whoever it is, whoever they're coming up, I'm just like, how do I swindle my ass out of this? Like, that's literally my situation. Like, with any adult interaction, it was like, how do I get out of this, or how do I do what I need to do to control this situation? Like, that was like my little shit. That's what I would do as a little shit. Yeah. But I didn't have trust in adults, and so little stuff like that. When the cop threw the weed into the bushes and like said like, get the hell out of here, you know, like that's stuff that's so frowned upon, I guess, generally now, probably. But yeah, it's definitely something that gave me trust as a kid, you know.
Yeah, which he did, but what you don't know is you were so high that he switched the bag and he threw something else, and they took the freaking pipe and they're like, hey,
he threw basil.
Yeah, he took that weed. He smoked it that night. And by the way, officer, if you're listening to this and you remember this story, he still smokes weed.
Yeah, you didn't save me.
You didn't say it. Sorry, but I
smoked a joint before Ryan came over earlier today.
Yeah.
Hey, also Ryan, so I don't want to just like talk about drugs somehow on this podcast, because you're a lot more than that. I invited you on here because of your personality, but I do want to. I mentioned earlier, I've been studying a lot about like PTSD, depression, like with like psychedelics, MDMA, Molly, ecstasy, MDMA, Molly, and ecstasy. Those are all, when I say those 3 things, let's say they're interchangeable. They're the same thing. So a lot of people are using a lot of MDMA and psilocybin, whatever, like just drugs to. We're changing the way we think of a lot of our drugs, and we're helping people with PTSD. And so I would like to talk about, we mentioned briefly earlier, so back in the day, on the same subject of drugs, we would have what we would call Molly parties.
Yes.
So this is something that this is going to be, if you've never heard of this, it's a bit silly, but bear with us. I think that if we describe these, I know it sounds dorky and I know it sounds very hippie, but thinking of the amazing, crazy, insane feelings that I felt at these, like at your home when we were growing up. This is years and years ago, way long ago.
Oh yeah, at the good old 859.
The 859, yeah. Like, dude, just these, like, dude, if people with PTSD, people with depression, people who are lonely, if you're listening to this and you've never tried any sort of like, we're not going to talk about psychedelics here, but we're just talking about MDMA for this one. They're doing a lot of research, a ton of research on PTSD. Like, people are, I think the statistic that I read was 60% of the people who tried MDMA who had PTSD had positive results with one like sitting. So 60%, it's like, hey, you have PTSD.
It's a high rating.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, so I want to talk about, we would have Molly parties, and like, I think
we should have been that house should have been certified if like for PTSD people.
Dude,
to just
oh my
walk
God,
in.
it literally should have been a counselor's office. Like, it's you would become a different person. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the stage. So on the surface level, Molly is a drug just like ecstasy.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel nice. A lot of people nowadays, if you're familiar with it in like party songs or whatever, it's something that people take along with cocaine, whatever. Like, it's just a party, like you're drinking, you take some Molly, it makes you feel good. It's a sex thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But so when we had first, I guess, kind of dabbled into it.
Because Molly was just coming out, or like it came out like maybe a year before or something.
Yeah. So my understanding of Molly was that it's supposed to be pure MDMA.
Yes.
So ecstasy is MDMA based, but it also has some ketamine, some whatever the fuck you want. Like,
you don't even
ecstasy
know.
is a press tab, MDMA based, so Molly based.
Yeah.
But it also has some other shit. That's the rules of ecstasy.
Yeah, that's the thing that you don't know. Like, that's why they call taking Molly is rolling. You don't get that with ecstasy because you're just high. I mean, I guess you can roll whatever you feel good, but you're just always fucking high. It's like you never come down.
So the slang on rolling, is that because it's up and down? Like you like feel like, oh, I feel really high? I'm pretty sure that's how I remember.
Well, it all depends on how you take it, but yeah, usually it's when you take MDMA or Molly, you have this feeling in your stomach and it starts, and then you get really lightheaded. And I'm not gonna get into like the scientific terms. You just feel fucking good.
You feel fucking good.
Yeah, and then you come down in the middle of your roll, and you're like, what the heck? And you feel kind of normal, still kind of high, eyes bugging, looks like you're free.
Eyes bugging.
You're like
crinkling a water bottle at light speed.
Yeah, and you're talking about starting a podcast, and
you're expressing all of your ideas that you'll never complete.
It's like cocaine, but 10 times better.
Yeah.
But
people probably haven't done cocaine who are trying to get the...
Oh, okay.
You'll learn.
Yeah. So basically it's that. So, and then all of a sudden when you hit your low, you come right back up, and then you're high again, and you start feeling good. It's like a feeling that I tried to explain.
Right.
Because how I feel is, but at the time I was listening to a lot of music, every type of music kind of thing. But I told people it feels like listening to every single song, your favorite song that has made you, like, your hair stand, those goosebumps when you listen to music, it's like every single song that you've ever heard in your life played all at once at the same time. And it's like a culmination of those songs. Yeah,
it's the feeling of those songs as all in one. Like if you could, I mean, you can't even imagine what that feels like, because you're just like, oh, that would sound terrible. All my favorite songs at once, that sounds terrible. But like, think about the feeling.
Yeah,
the feeling of all those songs.
Yeah, and probably the best description that I ever heard in my life of that feeling, it was from Cody.
Mm-hmm.
You can bleep that out if you want to, but he's like,
just say first names or something.
Yeah, okay. So Cody. He's one time we're just smoking really high, and he's like, you know what it feels like? I'm like, what feels like? You can't just like blur that out in the conversation. Like, he's like, no, taking Molly. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, it feels like we're like Adam and Eve. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, okay. It's that feeling of them discovering things for the first time, because they're the first humans, right? Supposedly the first humans on Earth. So it's like almost like a discovery, like, oh, this is what grass feels like, or
wow, man, yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Wild.
Like, oh, like eating an apple for the first time. Yeah. It's like your first times of everything.
Do you think it's because I've been super into a lot of meditation and yoga lately, so obviously like the present moment, like presence, like being here now is very, like, that's something that's been a revelatory experience for me, as it turns out. Do you think Molly almost emphasizes your senses so well? You can smell more, you can see more intently, you can taste of some sorts, you can kind of taste whatever, you could hear more intently. Like it emphasizes all of your senses so much to where it's almost an ultra present moment.
Oh,
do you think it's kind of like that? Like, it kind of
you know what, that's actually exactly how,
like, you don't think about any of your bullshit. You don't think forward in the future. You don't care about what's going on. You care about
living in the moment. Here. Yeah, right here.
Dude, if you put a motherfucker on Molly in some nice green grass, ooh,
oh man,
ooh, he's gonna feel that green grass.
He would not care if he was allergic to grass and he's like freaking red and swollen. He's like, dude, I don't know about you, but this fucking grass, man.
Well, so it's funny. Like, so okay, so. The jokes upon Molly, like, everybody like hears about, like, oh, ecstasy, like everything feels good, we've seen Get Him to the Greek where he's stroking the wall with Jeffrey, like all this stuff. But so the thing about MDMA, because I think I want these conversations to be somewhat kind of at least a little bit valuable. Like, I understand that the world was different when we took it. We were doing it for party reasons, but like, looking back, it was very important to our lives. But now, like, people are going to be taking these, like, literally in a counseling setting. Like, people are going to be in some
smart
sort of, like, they're going to be in a room, like, it's going to be more casual. It's psychedelic research. I'm sure it'll probably be places like this, honestly. You come here and you got a dude like me who has tattoos.
Well, hopefully like this. You got to remember, it's like, if they're doing this on a scientific level, like sometimes it's like you're in my head I always go way too movie-esque kind of things where like they're in a white room. Hey, you're gonna be for the next fucking 2 hours taking this Molly.
Yeah, in a lab coat.
Yeah,
like I just feel like that's too uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're gonna do it like what you're about to describe. It's in a comfortable setting.
Yeah, I think it's super important, like, because we're going over the next 10 years. A lot of the research I've been doing is showing that over the next 10 years, as a random estimate, the changes with like the research, we're doing a lot of the research, but it's going to be to the point where, like I said outside earlier, 53-year-old ladies who have never touched a drug in their life have drank alcohol. They drink wine once in a while. Yeah, they're going to be like, okay, I just went through a divorce and like, I don't know what to do with my life. And a doctor is going to be to the point, or at some point, whatever this is going to look like, they're going to have a prescription or something for MDMA or psilocybin or whatever it is. Like, the people are going to need to know, like, what am I getting into? Because this is so different. Like we casually use like fun drugs, recreational use.
Yeah, like party up. When you throw all that stuff in there, and that just gets people turned off. Yeah,
so like how do we talk about, like, so how do we correlate our experience? Because so when we talk about these fun experiences, it's impossible for us to not just be like, oh yeah, that's so funny, like, like we're laughing it off. But how do we talk about these experiences and make them not like still scary and off-putting to people who could really benefit? Because thinking about now, like, we didn't think about it back then, but think about now, like if you know people with depression, like now that we have these clinical like ideas and like different dosages and what like settings that is going to be eventually something, like you would be like, yeah, like you should totally try MDMA, right? Like you would like, if your sister was depressed, you'd be like, hey, like, you should try it. So how do we correlate, Ryan, I guess I'm asking you, like, how do we correlate the conversation we're having from like the fun party, here's the experiences we had, how do we make that sound comfortable for where 53-year-old ladies who just got a divorce are like trying to convince themselves to try this to help themselves deal with the mourning of their divorce, or the, you know what I mean? Like how do we take, like how do they find value from these conversations of us?
Oh, about taking like the Molly, like as a prescription drug. I would,
because dude, in the next 10 years, it's going to be a normal thing.
It might be
of some sort.
But anyway, hopefully, like they have it down to where, like, like the people that are actually administering, Molly itself, like obviously when we talk about, like you said, we were talking about partying and stuff. Yeah, we were taking like a lot.
Right.
It's
just
like
whatever. Well, and that's the cool thing is now
4 or 5 hits.
Yeah, I'm happy that we were the guinea pigs, like not that we were like writing that shit down, but there's plenty of dipshits like us that were just taking whatever, and we know what's good, what bad amounts are. So like that probably helped, I hope.
Yeah. So if they get it down, like if doctors can get it down to where like if you can just take like a little bit amount, just enough to like feel something, and like, it's like, I don't know, I guess it would be like taking like a depression pill, but I don't know what it's like to take a pill like that. I do. What is it like? Dude, I don't know.
Okay, so it's I'm super happy to describe this actually. So the first time I had taken it, so I had smoked weed, I had drank, I had done ecstasy. Like I was a, like, let's say casual punk kid, like good kid, I guess, but like I've done recreational drugs, I've done alcohol, whatever. When I got prescribed, I went into the doctor's office, and I literally, you go in and within 5 minutes you have a prescription in your hand. Like you just tell them that I'm sad and they give you whatever. Okay. So I had SSRI inhibitors, which, I mean, you could look it up, but it's depression medication. Essentially, it's so hard to describe how it makes you feel, because it's not like the drugs that we've ever taken. It's not, it makes you feel closest to nothing that you can think of.
So basically it turns off like your emotion inhibitors or something, or
kind of. Well, so, and I'm afraid that any listener, this might scare them away from it. And I think that there's tons of people, and I know more people than not people. I know probably 90% of people that I know that have tried depression medication have had good success with it. So if you're listening and you think maybe you should try it, give it a goddamn try. Don't listen to me. But for me, it was terrible. I had a terrible time with depression medication. It was the most disconnected feeling. I felt I had this weird, the way that I can describe it, I couldn't feel sad. I couldn't feel empty, but I knew that I should. I'm like, oh, this is where emptiness would go. And it felt as if that was taken from me. And that's how I felt like I was, like, that's how like my mental state was on this medication. And so that's where, like, so they say like suicidal thoughts get very prevalent. Like that's how I was like, okay, this is where that sparks from.
That's like not even helping.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this may take away all your feelings, so I hope you can deal with that.
But so it's not that intense though, because when there was times where I really did feel good. Like you feel like it makes it to where your highs aren't so high and your lows aren't so low, which for a while, that is nice, because sometimes you get to a point where you're like, dude, I've been either incredibly happy or incredibly depressed for the last 4 months or whatever.
Yeah, like
it is.
these two feelings. It's like, where can I find a happy medium?
You're fucking hardcore on the gas, hardcore on the brakes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you can't live life like that. That's like, to me right now, what you just described, like, I don't like that. I would hate that, because like, you know me, it's like, you know, I've never been on any medication or whatever, but I've been through depression and, you know, had those crazy, weird, suicidal thoughts. I don't want to call it weird. I'm sorry, but you know, because a lot of people feel these feelings. But
no, they're weird as fuck. They're super weird. They suck.
Yeah, I hate getting to that point. So like I said, I don't know. I never went to a doctor or whatever, but I knew that I wasn't feeling any, like, I don't
like, this ain't
like,
right.
Why am I so low right now? Like, you know, because I've felt really happy.
Because you know who, you know, we have a sense of who we are. Like, you're like, wait, like I'm pretty sure I'm a happy ass dude. Like, I'm not. These aren't my feelings. Like, what's that? You know? Yeah,
exactly. So it's like me, like, I would hate to say it this way, but it's like, man, I can't believe I made it this far in life for like feeling the things I felt, and like, and the thoughts that would just go through my head. I'm like, dude, this is not even worth it anymore. Right. So like, for me to hear that feeling of, like, you know, like you said, like, some people, you know, taking these depression pills, it has worked, but what happens to the people that doesn't work? You know, are they just on another pill that makes them even worse? Right. And like, all of a sudden, like, you're just like, your body's not even normal anymore. You know, it's full, you're just pumped full of drugs and trying to make you feel a feeling. Well, and it's the right ones,
dude. It's so scary, because you get to the, like, so like I had this moment. I think I've actually mentioned this on here before, but I had this moment where I had a Reddit comment actually like pull me out of this. Like, so I was feeling kind of good. Like, so I had upped my dose. I had tried a couple different I think they were all, everything that I tried or the doctor gave me, I think they were all SSRI inhibitors. If that changes, I'll come back through the podcast and tell, but I think they were all SSRI inhibitors. So I got to like a higher dose, because he kept saying like, no, I think this is the one, just keep, like, it would be like, go to him a couple weeks later, because what they do is they give you, here's this dose, come back to me in 3 weeks, whatever, or a week, whatever, I don't know, whatever it was. And I'd be like, I don't feel good. This is not good. I feel crazy. Like, please, no. And like, he doesn't really, like, what can he possibly do? Like, he's not a therapist. He's literally my old family doctor from when I was a kid. Yeah. Like, I feel bad for the guy. Like, the positions that doctors are put in now for this stuff, like, he's not a psychiatrist. He doesn't know what I really need. Like, he doesn't have enough time to talk to me. Like, he's a terrible position.
Yeah, he's the guy to remedy whatever's going on as of right now. Yeah. What are you feeling? Yeah. Oh, well, head stuff? Yeah. Well, that's not my feeling.
No, I mean, and he made me feel very comfortable, but he only has 5 minutes. Like, you know, but anyway, so I read this comment on Reddit. I was feeling good. My doses were kind of like, it had been probably only a couple weeks to where I was like, I almost had forgotten that I was taking the medications. Outside of, I had some gnarly side effects, like sleep was an issue. And then I was constantly sweating. Always sweating, like my legs were just constantly sweating, which is a crazy, terrible shit thing. Yeah. But I read this comment on Reddit that said, I was on depression medication, something about, it would have been nice, but then I realized that none of it was real, and it wasn't actually me feeling good. It was the drugs that were making me feel normal. It was something like that, like some sentence that was very blunt, like, it's not me doing it, it's the drugs that are making, and it clicked something in me, and it was like, my depression was like, I control your life now. Yeah. Like, it was like this terrible clicking thing. Yeah. So for me, like, in that, so those are moments where I think that, like, the suicidal thoughts that they like warn you about on TV and stuff, I think those are the moments where it's like, you should kill yourself right now. Yeah. It's, so I felt that, I grasped that, and I was like, oh no. And then, this is stupid, and any listeners, don't do this, do not do this. But I cold turkeyed, like I just stopped.
Yeah, I heard you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
you're
no,
to, like,
it wasn't good. And
off.
I honestly, I don't remember like laying on the ground, like having withdrawals, like, because people compare it, like on Reddit, online, people are like, oh, it's worse than heroin withdrawals. It's worse than like blah, blah. Like I know that I kept drinking. I had probably done cocaine within the last couple weeks after like quitting it, like at least once, but like not that I like did cocaine every day or something.
Yeah.
But like just casually I kept partying. And I think that I was just in such a state of self-hate and depression that like it just was adding on like my withdrawals or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, you're just like filling up your head with other things to try to keep it busy.
It was just more like, things suck right now. That's cool. Yeah, I feel shitty. I always feel shitty. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how it was. So
maybe this beer, like, you know, hanging out with a bunch of people made me feel a lot better, like replacing...
Maybe avoiding any thoughts I have. Maybe if I can just avoid, if I lay down too long, I start thinking about it. So let's not sleep as much as I can.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
All these things I did to distract myself. But yeah, so that's the way that it feels, depression medication, for me anyway. And everybody feels different. So you got to take it slow. Try it if you need to try it. If your doctor thinks you should try it. If somebody in your family thinks you can try it. But for me, it made me very, honestly, a little bit comparable to a weed high.
Okay.
You're not fully, you're kind of just a little bit of numb, like you're kind of just a little bit of stag, like you're just a little bit
okay.
It's so
it's
hard
like some like some noise that you can't even like pitch to. It's like you're stuck at this, like no one wants to hear this noise.
You're at a monotone. Like it's not miserable, it's not happy, it's not, because when you think of our brains, when we think of like, oh, you didn't feel anything, or no, it's not super happy, we think of that sounds scary, that feels uncomfortable. It's not that. It's not like you feel miserable all the time, but it's this weird in between feeling. And some people it just doesn't work. It didn't work for me. I remember I had it was at the first week, and I had a hair appointment, and I'm friends with the lady who cuts my hair. She's awesome. Yeah. And she was talking to me, and then at some point I kept up with it after a while, but then like the medications really started to kick in. I started getting like, I didn't really want to talk. And she like pointed it out. Like she like said something. She's like, "What's wrong? Like you're acting weird." And like I didn't want to tell her like, "Well, I'm on a really high dose of depression medication because I'm trying not to blow my fucking brains out when I get home." Yeah. Like obviously like
how do you like tell?
And I remember like realizing that I had to explain it to other people, like why I was acting weird, or like maybe like why I kind of looked like I was on drugs or whatever it was. Like I was on a high dose of whatever. But like that moment, realizing that I had to explain it was like, that was rough. That was
like how do you talk to like someone like you barely know and say, hey, oh, by the way, I'm acting like this because of blah blah blah.
I mean, she probably would have been super cool about it. I mean, she really would. And anybody, a lot of people would be like maybe a little caught off guard at first, but give them a few seconds to get some bearings. And honestly, I've noticed that people are like, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. So my uncle took depression, like, you know, like,
you like two types of people, like, or three types. One will like, oh, I feel the same way. One is they know someone of it. The third one is like they tell you of how you should feel, and like, oh, that's just a feeling that you just got to tell yourself in the morning every, like, I'm happy. Like, you know, it's like something that like my dad used to tell me. It's like, I don't get why people would kill themselves or whatever, all this bullshit. And he's like, you know, you just wake up, you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're happy. I'm like, I don't think it works like that. Well, that's one of the answers I hated the most, and it's something I never wanted to talk to my dad about. Like, still to this day, I haven't really told him, but like he knows that like I'm very an emotional man. Like he knows that I can be like pretty like you know, super happy, or I could be just like, I wouldn't say a word. He's like, dude, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't,
lows, highs.
Yeah, you know, I never had like that happy medium, you know, not until now. You know, it's one of those things you just gotta like. What sucks is like I never have taken any pills. I've never went to a doctor about it, you know, or talked. It's like, I'm just happy. I'm one of those people. I had my friends, you know, I had really good friends like you know, and you know, now I have my wife and like people who cared about me enough to say that I'm like, holy shit, like, you know what? I need to get myself out, because if I don't, either I'm going to be left behind and gone, you know, or I can't be with the people I love the most anymore, you know, and that like hurt me so much. I'm like, dude, you know what? I almost gave in to like what my dad's like, I just got to look in the mirror and just say, hey, I'm happy, blah blah blah, you know, just like, you know, I took in a bit of what everyone said, you know, like those three people that I hated the most, like maybe if I take that all in at the same time, maybe I can figure this out, you know, which I still, till this day, I feel the low lows, I still feel the high highs, you know, but at the same time, it's like, now I got people that care about me.
Right.
Like, what I'm like, there's no way I like now have my wife and a kid on the way, you know. It's like, holy shit, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I want to stick around for that.
Oh man, I can't wait to see like my future kid, you know, and and be with my wife for the rest of my life. And you know, even with my friends and family, I'm like, holy crap, like if I do this right now, it's like, because I see my friend didn't like kill himself, but you know, but he passed away at such a young age, and I saw the impact he had. I'm like, you know, I'm not saying like I'm like him, because that guy was incredible, but you know, it's like, what are the repercussions of me doing that to myself, you know, letting the depression win and the effects that it has on people.
Yeah, dude, you gotta, you know, it's funny, like I realized that just by standing up and fighting, and just by living your life, like you, just by getting married and loving Katie and loving your life and taking what your dad told you when you were younger and thinking about it now, like just by living your life, you are encouraging others to do the same. Like I
never
think,
thought of that before.
You know,
and
you give people permission to fight by fighting. You know what I mean? Like I guess that's another thing that I want to have with this podcast, is just be like, hey, like, you little fuckers, we're all going through some shit, but like we're pushing through. Yeah. And if you need to take some energy, if you need to take some power from us pushing through, like, here, take it. You know? Yeah. So yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep, like, I don't know, we don't fucking always know the answers, but they seem like they kind of lay themselves out later in life if you just keep like, just going.
Yeah, definitely, like for the kids, you know, like, because we were so young going through this crap, you know, it's like now everyone's going through like anxiety and stuff like that, but they're going at it in a wrong way. Like, you know, what we kind of did, we filled those voids or whatever with something wrong. Like, I know that, like, you know, some drugs, not saying that, like, you know, later on maybe, like you said, we were talking about earlier, like MDA could help, you know, like at certain doses.
It's routed to go, like, I would say in 10 years it's going to be literally like a pharmacy thing.
I would hope so. I mean, it's the most amazing feeling that you'll ever feel, you know, like, but like we were saying earlier, hey, hopefully they don't. It's like, here's 3 hits. You might feel a little down in the morning, but those memories that you had.
Yeah. Like, as long as you just remember the memories, you'll be good.
Yeah. You just hold on to those memories.
You're like, so
hang on to the past.
They just give you a Rumspringa situation. They're like, you're going to go to a rave. Here's a couple festival tickets. You're gonna cleanse your ego.
Oh my gosh.
Remember hey, it could help.
Yeah, stop being fucking sad. Take this fucking MDMA, go to a festival.
Just have a good night, bro.
Yeah, and then after that, just hold on to those memories, and it'll make you happy for the rest of your life.
Okay, so what is it? Okay, wait, let's get more detailed with MDMA.
Okay.
What is it about MDMA? So one of my very, like, so I had an experience on MDMA that literally changed me as a person, and that sounds scary to any listeners. If you've never taken any sort of drugs, I know that sounds so fucking weird and scary and uncomfortable, and you don't want that at all. But this is a very good thing. I actually had a moment that sounds hippie, but it had good benefits in my life. I had my best friend at the time, Ian Fulton. He's just a good guy to be around. And then I was dating a girl back in high school. I don't know if I should probably want that. Anyway, so back in the day, I was with one of my good friends and a girl that I was dating back in high school. We had taken MDMA. We were literally outside on the grass. I'm not kidding. This is something we didn't know much about. I don't even know how much we took. I don't even know what it was. Something we knew nothing about. But we were on the grass, and I literally had moments where we were all sitting there. We weren't talking. We were all just kind of looking around, enjoying each other's company. Yeah. I was in the grass, and I had this thought to myself, not even like a high, like, I should do. Yeah. It was I enjoy this grass right now. Like, this grass laying here, with my elbow on the grass with my two very close friends. This is a wonderful, beautiful, this is what life is about. This is great. I had this time when I was like, I should generally appreciate grass more. And I remember I had this time where even at that moment, I knew that it was a laughable, like dorky thing. But I was like, this is like actually this is something I could take with me to sober life, to regular, the rest of my world is I should appreciate these two people. I should appreciate my friends more. I should appreciate things like grass more. And honestly, I think, you know, is everlasting effects, but for like the months afterwards, I was on like a euphoric, like I'm appreciating things more because Molly, because MDMA kind of shuts down your like default mode network. It shuts down your ego, like moves around in your brain. It's done. You're good to just see what's in front of you. So for me, around some of my first times, it literally helped me in the moment realize that what I have in front of me is great. The grass, my friends, whatever, that sounds dorky, but it had everlasting effects of being able to be present and being able to look at the things around me and be like, you know, I am grateful that I have a garage. Like, you know, thank goodness I have a garage. That's nice. Like, I have a basketball hoop. Dang, like I didn't have a basketball hoop my whole life growing up. Like I have a basketball hoop in my driveway. That's so cool. Like it helps you
appreciate the little, like the tiniest things.
Yeah. Do you have any experiences like that, Ryan?
I would have to say probably the best experience that I knew that I realized I'm like, holy crap, this drug, this Molly was awesome, was when we were all up there. I wish you were there too, actually, for this one when we're actually doing this, but we were sitting in a circle up in remember what we called Thug's Mansion up there in the freaking attic, which it's supposed to be an attic, but we totally...
This is cool, dude. It was like blankets and stuff, right?
Yeah, blankets and like...
And you worked in the movie theater, and so there was cool-ass movie theater posters.
I had every movie poster you can think of at the time.
They were the sick... They were the ones that like everybody wants, right? Like they're like, you go to movie theaters, you're like
oh, dude, that's sick.
Poster.
Oh, dude, I had it.
We hung up. You had the sickest shit. That was the coolest shit.
What was awesome is like when you got in that room, you would have to like, even for me, people, I am only 5'5" and a half, and yes, I will always cherish that half. But anyways, I would have to be ducking a little bit, just to get in this room, and you know everyone else was like bent over to try to get. But as soon as you laid down, it was like we had like all those pillows and blankets we would wash all the time because we had people over. Like we weren't weird sick hippie, so like
it wasn't gross. It was honestly clean.
Oh, we cleaned that.
Yeah, it was
house.
A very clean environment.
Oh,
it was a bunch of bros, but like everybody take care of it. Take care of it.
Taking care of it.
No, but essentially this was like a crawl an attic that you can duck in but almost walk in. Yeah. But it was covered in blankets and stuff, but not like dirty. Like it was like and you walked around the corner and you just like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was rad. And they had the door to open and it looked like a freaking old Western door that you like pop into the bar. Remember that? It had like a little hook, but it looked like a freaking like a door from from the West or something, like a Western movie. You're like, just kick it open. You're like, I'm here. I'm here. But anyways, so we were going, we were laying in a circle, kind of everyone's just sitting up there, just, you know, for some reason we just hit, like, we weren't like our high. Mm-hmm. We like, you know, we were like
your peak, as they call it on
we were past the peak, and then for some reason I just not yelled, but I was like, hey guys, we should all say something nice to each other.
Oh man, that's so beautiful.
And so
I love that.
we took turns, and I'm like, hey, you know, let's say, you know, when Crystal was living with us, I'm like, hey, everyone, we're gonna take turns and we're gonna say something really nice to Crystal, like how she affected your life or why she's so important to you. And we did that with everybody. And I swear, when we came out of that room,
that breaks something. Right now.
It turned like everyone's mood. Like we went from like, you know, just kind of like hanging out, partying kind of thing, to like we went downstairs, and you know, like how when you're on it, you know, you're always like, oh, it's so hyped and stuff. But we were when we started rolling again, we weren't like crazy anymore. You know, we were just sitting there like just chill, like, you know, and then we just kept talking like me, you are right now, but we were just feeling good. There was no negative response to everything, you know, no smart ass remarks. It was just people hanging out and loving each other, you know.
So what is I think the negative annotations with MDMA, with ecstasy, like with the media, is always like, it's very like sexual. Like,
it's like,
always. So
Well, you always get like,
I don't even know if I've ever had sex on MDMA or ecstasy. I really don't think I have. But it's honestly, I'm sure it makes whatever you're doing better. Like I'm sure sex on MDMA is fucking great.
Oh,
like,
I bet it is. Amazing. I never have either.
Yeah, but
I didn't want to ruin it.
So well, right.
I'm sorry. I have to say that right now.
So I've heard a ton of people say that it's like you don't do it on MDMA because when you do it off, it's not. But I mean, I don't know. Sex is like pizza, right? Like sex is just cool.
Yeah,
sex is great.
It's always gonna be great.
Like I think that the sexual, like, it's not like you take ecstasy, you take an MDMA, you take Molly, you just start like rubbing the dude next to you, you rub like the girl next to you. Like it's not really like that. I mean, it's an amplification of your environment, and it also shuts off your default mode network. So your ego is out of the way. So think of in that situation to where, like, imagine you're like, whoever you are listening to this, you're with Ryan Santos in a room, you're feeling kind of good, you feel this new drug, like, oh, I'm kind of happy, and he says, hey, we should look around and we should, say something we like about each other. We should look each other in the eyes, right in the face, and say, what do you like about me? Like what's something awesome about me? Like that, you and your friend groups, you would not say. You wouldn't just be having some Bud Lights with your boys and say like, hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. You got beautiful eyes, and honestly, the way you treat your sister is very respectable. Like,
that doesn't happen. All it is like you talk shit about each other, and you talk about,
it's
like,
joking, and you mean well. You know you mean well. But so the thing about the MDMA, these moments, if you're listening in, if for whatever reason, if this is later in life or whatever, if somehow MDMA is legal or you have a way of safely getting it, like I don't condone illegal use of anything, of course, but like create the environment with you and your friends. Like honestly, like
try not to go to some rave and like the people that you talk to, like what you were explaining earlier about, like, oh, you take in, like, all of a sudden you're filling up on somebody. It's like, no, because you're in that environment. Like what? We never. I guess we had those shows just starting to like be more popular. Like the EDM was there, but it wasn't there yet. So it's not like we went out to like all these shows and like, oh, whatever. We threw these parties just with our really good friends. And if you wanted to come join and experiment with Molly itself, like, hey, come on over. We'll show you a good time.
Yeah. So what is it? Is there a world where, again, assuming these things will be legal in the next few years, whatever, where you can get your friends together, regardless of who you are as a person, regardless of what you're trying to experience, get together with a bunch of friends and take MDMA. Like, so we would literally have, back in the day at your house, we'd have Molly parties.
Yeah.
MDMA, I think we'd literally call them Molly parties.
Oh, we would. Yeah, that's what we call them.
Fuck the name. We're just Molly parties.
Yeah, Molly parties, man.
But so, dude, so what we would do, honestly, again, these are cool stories, and I certainly want to share them because they're cool. But I really am emphasizing, like, corny as it seems to any listener, I am emphasizing because I think that these things, like, I had a traumatic childhood experience. Like I had rough times as a childhood, and these are things that I think saved me and like helped me love my life more than I could have ever even thought of. Like we had such good times. But so anybody who's able to, like, if in the future, imagine like if people are, people have wine parties now, 50-year-old ladies, like, oh, come on over, we'll have some appetizers and we'll watch fucking, I don't know,
Golden Girls or something.
Yeah, whatever. Like, but dude, like, you can have a thing like hang out with your friends and you can take MDMA and you can do it safely, and you could all, like, or even just with you and your husband, or you and one other person, or you and a counselor, if this is the way that things are going. Like, I don't know, these Molly parties, man, we would get everybody together and just have the funnest, not only the funnest time, but like the most loving time. Like, if we were having a Molly party, imagine 10 people on MDMA and we're just having great conversation. Honestly, that's probably the base of it. If you walked in, you would just see 5 different, very intricate, wonderful conversations.
Oh,
but you would feel that love when you walk through the door. Like,
exactly. Like, people open up, man. It's like that door of being shy, or like something that you've lived for your whole life of like not being able to talk, and I really, like, that's like totally not me. I've always been like, 2 feet in the mouth, man. You can still, to this day, you can't shut me up. But there's like people I've known that actually live with us that never really talk, and they get down to like the down and dirty of what they've been through, and You know, it's not like we sat there and cried to each other or something. Got
Right.
personal. We were just like, you know,
Well, if you did, honestly, it would be like, cool, I'm glad we just did that. Like, let's do something cool now. Like,
Yeah.
you would be like, cool, we did it.
Yeah,
Cool,
we're
done.
past it. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, hey, you know what? You got it out. You talked about like something
Yeah.
you never wanted to talk about, but
Yeah.
like that person would like even new people that would come over that
Mhm.
didn't live with us. You know, when we had these Molly parties, would the next day like either you or like other people would just be like, that was the best night of my life. I never
Right.
knew you could do this kind of stuff
Uh-huh.
without having like the whole sexual innuendos of like,
Yeah.
you know, or just
It's
like,
kind of a
oh,
weird
it's
thing, the
not like
media,
like a rager kind of thing. We were just
Yeah.
like relaxed. I never understood the whole, hey, like I've done it, you know, like this was afterwards, but like go to a rave or something, and I'm
Go
like,
party.
man, I don't know, like,
Yeah,
you
like
know,
you guys are missing out on something. So,
yeah,
well, so that we were talking about that before here too. I've been a DJ for a long time, and so like I see being a DJ for a long time. When I say that, a lot of times it's kind of like, remember where I'm at. I'm the sober person behind the decks.
yeah.
On the Saturday nights, on the Friday nights, when
And I still feel
everybody's
bad.
done.
Play this
Right.
song. For
No,
me
I mean,
now.
no, but like, so I see the last 10 years of my life has been, I'm in the corner as a surveillance camera. My job
Yeah.
is to look around, like I'm playing this song, I'm playing this vibe. Do people like it? So my job every 3 minutes is to look around and inspect the room.
Mm-hmm.
So for the last Friday and Saturday of the last 10 years, I've been every 3 minutes inspecting every room that I've been in,
Yeah,
you know, as a DJ. Like, so
that's crazy, man.
so
never
you know,
thought about that.
It's hard for people to think about like that way, you know,
Mhm.
and that makes people a little uncomfortable actually. Like if you really kind of put it that way, I guess. But
This guy has evidence. He's recorded all of our
yeah,
dirty shit that we did
I've
on
taken
the floor.
photos. If you're listening to this, I have a photo of you, probably naked. No, I mean, I just
Christy, we have a new
Yeah.
photo of you.
Christy, I actually have your phone, so if you can have had it for 6 months. Who's Christy?
Your boyfriend's cheating on you.
Yeah, yeah. Steve. Yeah, I saw him at the club. I always do.
Steve, that bastard, that cheating
Fucking
bastard.
Steve. No, but I see. So I have seen before I started DJing, before I ever even touched before I ever started DJing, before anything, I had taken MDMA, I had taken Molly, I had gone to festivals.
Yeah.
But I had also, before that, I had gone to your house and experienced love on another level that I'd never felt before.
Yeah.
Especially as like a kid who
Oh,
like
wait,
didn't
wait.
have
Can we talk about when you were there and you were pulling people into my room?
Oh my god, bro!
We need to talk about
Okay,
that. Let
all
me
right.
tell you how much love he was feeling that night, guys. He'll
Oh,
tell you in
man.
a second.
This is great. All right, you want me to tell it?
Oh, tell it,
Okay,
please.
so listen, listeners, if you had heard the song, I feel like most people probably heard "Home" by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Oh, so good.
Home, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. So it's just a great song, like a wonderful song, right? So the album that song is on is the fucking best out. Like it's so good.
Oh,
It's
it was amazing.
Good. So this song came out, and I was at this time in my life. I had gone from, man, probably honestly listening to a lot of like Linkin Park and like more hip hop, kind of like angry. Listened to a lot of Killswitch Engage. I was very into like Metal
Yeah.
Militia, and this was kind of my first. I've liked everything my whole life, all this music. It was the first time I had experienced like this like super hippie stuff for me. Like this is like chill folk music, like very nice.
Yeah.
So at Ryan's party that day, I went to the store. I bought the album. Like I bought the physical CD. Like it came with a poster. I think. Hell yeah.
I think he had it pre-planned or something. Like, I already know what's gonna happen.
Oh, dude,
I mean,
this was probably like a very planned thing to me, honestly.
I feel like did you buy it that day or did you buy it like a couple days before and then you
Oh, did
listened
I?
to it? I don't know. I can't remember, but I just
probably did, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it was that day. I don't know. Either way, so I had recently bought this album, Edward Sharpe Magnetic Zeros. I forget the name of the album, but it had Home and Jangling on it.
Oh, I definitely remember the album.
Yeah.
I don't know the album name, but I
But
remember the album.
So what I would do? How many people do you think were at that party? Like 20 max?
No, there. Actually, you know what?
There wasn't a ton, was there?
Maybe
30. I don't know.
no. We never had that many people over.
Yeah, it wasn't ever very many.
Yeah, there was only like we usually kept it in the teens, but that night we did actually
15 to
invite a
20
lot of
maybe.
people.
I don't know. So either way, what we do, we're all rolling, we're all having a good time. Everybody's in their own world. And I went in Ryan's room and I locked myself in there. and I put on his TV, I put on the album, and I would play the album. And what I would do is I would go into the party and I would walk up to people. And I mean, I thought it was the best thing ever.
Oh, it was the best thing ever, though.
I would whisper
amazing.
into people's ears. I'm like, hey, I need to show you something.
Dude, okay, you know what? The thing is, people, if you're gonna be doing this, you don't whisper in someone's ear, whether you're on Molly or not. I have to show you something. And then drag them into the room, and it's totally dark, and the only light is the little 32-inch TV I had.
Dude, but it was a portal. It was a portal. You know what's cool? I've always created these portals for people in my life that I'm glad that I do it for a living now. But this album was it meant so much to me. Like, it was such a great album at the time anyway, but like, honestly, on Molly, you feel like you really understand on when you take these drugs, when you really have, your like analytical brain shuts down.
You take the time to like listen or to feel.
Yeah.
Or
like, so think about songs that you think is beautiful. Think about why you think it is beautiful. You don't really know. But when you're on MDMA, you obsess over, you're like, I don't know why it's beautiful, but that is so okay. And I'm not going to let myself say like, I need to know why it's beautiful before I feel any more beautifulness. You say, I'm going to feel whatever I want to feel for no reason. So it's like, you let yourself feel it. Beautifulness. I don't think that's the word. But anyway, so I would play through this album. I would show like a couple specific songs, and the person, whoever they were, whatever state they were in the first place, they would literally just their face would melt in this room. And just me and this person, I'd be like, I gotta show you this.
Yeah, I was watching people coming out of that room. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like
every 15 minutes, 13 minutes.
Up my party here, and it's by the way, it's male and female coming out of this room. What is happening? And then all of a sudden you finally ask me, I'm like, okay, I got to find out what the hell's happening in there. You take me in, and I can't even remember what song that you were showing me. I'm pretty sure Home was one of them, and then you showed me a couple other songs, and I just remember just sitting back and then just closing my eyes and just I can never listen to any of those songs normally again.
Oh man,
kind of like it was like that. And then there's another song when you weren't there, when someone blasted, I think it was Darren one night, he's like, dude, we gotta listen to this song. I'm like, okay. And it was freaking Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. And
all songs, he's like, you haven't heard this one.
It's like, we've all heard it, dude, what the heck. But when you're on Molly, it's like, holy shit,
he's
Man in the Mirror.
You haven't heard it on Molly. It's different.
It was different. But dude, that time when it was the way that you just pulled everyone, like you were having like an individual like connection with everyone at this party and showing all these songs of that album. Man, I like I said, I can't listen to that album again ever. It changed that just the way the melody was, and you know what, I wouldn't have never listened to them if it wasn't for that night.
Right.
And
dude, that's so cool to me. That makes me so excited. Like because I just remember, like, I loved it. And you know what it was too, is I was at that age, I was very like, I've always been a popular guy, but I was very alone, honestly. Like, I was very like, I've always been popular. Like, honestly, like, I mean, that's a weird thing to say out loud. That's a weird thing to even like say as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's like when you know it, you know it.
Yeah, but I like, there's also like, even my best fucking friends that have known me forever, they will agree with you, I'm not like them. Like, I'm just different. Like, so when I'm able to like say like, wow, like there's just something that like do other people feel this much beauty when they listen to music? Because I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it because I get made fun of. Yeah. And so when I'm able to like, obviously the drugs, like, of course, like MDMA, like makes you just fucking feel things on another level. But like, I love that album so much. And the fact that there was the first time in my life at a young age, I was probably 16 or so, that I can bring people and be like, hey, like this gives me like a fit, like, is this okay to feel, like, do you feel this? And like, you guys are like, yeah, that's thank you for sharing that. And I'm like, wow, like you value my friendship, you know? Yeah. So it's something that like you guys, like you bringing me into your guys' friendship group, man, was just like, yeah, so great. And then able to be myself in moments like that.
Oh, yeah, to, like, exactly. And that's what I loved about it, dude. It's like we were, it was the house that And by the way, this house we almost had for like almost 2 years, I think, or it's like a year and a half. But
God, it seems like it was longer than that.
didn't it?
We did a lot of stuff in the house.
It was like,
cool
well, because it was every weekend. Not saying that we had Molly parties every weekend, people, but
no, but we had friends there. Like,
yeah, we would drink and stuff like that. You know, like we'd smoke, but it was kind
of just like that's just where you went.
Yeah,
it's like
and hung out. And the thing was, a little fun fact that there was never a fight there.
Really?
There was no fist fights. There was no arguments.
Yeah. I could see that so plainly too. Like, there's no way there'd be a fight there. Like,
yeah. I mean, there was like after I think when we were moving out and stuff like that, there were like a couple like arguments about like random stupid shit that you just
that's water under the bridge right now.
Yeah,
though. I mean,
it's like when you get too close to someone. After that, you can like you have that feeling of, oh, I can say this to you because I'm comfortable enough. But then it leads to a fight. It's like being in a relationship, you know. But I was surprised, like, wow. Usually when you have a house like this, there's always a fight. There's always some dickhead that was not invited, you know, that gets mad at somebody, and you're like, dude, why did you bring Jimmy? Everyone knows Jimmy is a dick. And
Jimmy sucks.
And so that never happened. And so it
was so chill there.
Yeah, it was around because we had like, it doesn't matter who you were. We had Hicks over there. We had like people that just like, you know,
anybody. Everybody was welcome there.
Oh, sorry that I said Hicks. All right, but we live in a town.
Oh yeah, that's another funny thing. We got to explain. So like our terminology talking too, because I actually have said the term redneck. And I had a lady on the plane last year. I had a lady like give me this whole spiel about it's very offensive to say rednecks.
Oh, because
did you know that?
How rednecks is
like if I say in Castle Rock there's rednecks, that's offensive.
Oh, someone be offensive? Is it like because like they went down like what that word actually meant?
I think.
Yeah.
Like, so it means
well, it means
way back in the day.
If I remember right, it's like back in the day. It's the rednecks were the people that actually worked out in the fields outside.
And they were screwed over by the banks.
Yeah, the lesser people.
Yeah.
They were considered like, hey, I make more money than you. You're just be shit. You just work out in the fields.
Yeah, you're just a redneck.
You're a redneck.
Like you have redneck from being
from the sun and everything else.
So it's funny. I'm sure that is a definition, but I mean the way that we've grown up, like you grew up in Tootle, like.
Dude, I class of 50, buddy.
Yeah,
I had people at my senior year flying that high flag Confederate flag, and those guys had no idea what that flag actually really meant, and I hated them for it. I was like,
that's the thing is
they
they
have
literally
idea about history.
It's actually painful because it's like you kind of want to just let them like, okay, well you just be an idiot, but also like you need to know. I don't know.
No, it's stupid. I mean, definitely, I kind of got like growing up, you know, being Filipino, you know, dark-skinned Filipino, and, you know, growing up in Tootle, class of 50, out in the freaking sticks, and you just have these, sorry to say, Hicks, but I don't
know if Hicks is a bad term.
I hope not, but someone will find it offensive.
Right. If you find it offensive, please leave that in the comment below.
Yeah.
And if I get enough comments, I start getting money, I think. So keep commenting.
Yeah, it's so funny because someone actually told me about being offended by things. She's like, you know what? This is how I view it. He's like, if you're not offended, then I'm offended. So it's like, if you're not offended, I'm offended. If you're offended, then I'm not offended. It's like people are like, I was telling you earlier, something like a person told me, it was like, hey, can you not say Jesus Christ in front of me?
Oh, right. What?
And I was like, wait, what? And you know, I've known him for a while now, and he's like, yeah, I don't like you saying my Lord and Savior's name in vain. And then I'm a super nice guy. I was gonna, and I just said, okay, whatever, I'll stop saying it. But I almost had the thing to say, well, you can't make any more Asian jokes to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Asian, like you say,
like
Asian
you get
jokes,
to choose what I say with my language because it offends your beliefs, but I'm supposed to be cool with.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be cool with you saying like,
dude,
you're Asian. It's like, I'm not offended, but like, dude, you know what? I almost want to give him the exact example. It's like, hey man, the thing is like, if I say that, I'm actually being offended because you are saying something about who I am.
Right.
And then I bet he would
even farther.
Yeah, and then it's like, Jesus Christ is like, well, that's my belief. I'm like, oh, so you're throwing your religion at me now. He I know he tried to explain, it's like, I'm not pro religion and stuff like that. I just like it. I like that the relationship that I have with Jesus Christ and God and stuff. And I said, well, can you look up, I wanted to say, can you look up religion for me? Because I'm pretty sure it means believing in a higher power.
Well, okay. I mean, I think...
Oh, now we're in deep waters now.
I mean,
people are about to get super offended. Hey.
Here we go, motherfucker.
Oh,
I mean, because I've become quite a spiritual man in the last year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm religious. I mean, I don't give a flying fuck about labels. I'm definitely not religious, but I think choosing what someone else says with their mouth is insane. That's not something you can ever choose. So when you said whatever the situation was, you probably just, it was a casual, like, no, Jesus Christ. Like, oh, you know, someone walks around the corner too fast. A cat jumps and they get all sketchy like cats do.
Yeah.
And you go, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't mean to say, like, this situation is unimportant and terrible to me, and I'm equating that to your belief in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You did not say that. You said, here's a sound that's coming out of my mouth because I was just startled really quick, or whatever the situation was. They don't get to say, like, hey, what you said actually means this. Mm-hmm. I understand that same situation would like say, like, the N-word. Yeah. Like, we can say that same situation for the N-word and it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't just casually say the N-word because you were startled by a cat coming around the corner. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's got to be some sort of give. This guy that you're talking about that was like, can you please not say the Lord's name in vain? He knows goddamn well, I said that, that you did not mean, hey, I'm trying to insult your religion. If he personally does not want to take the Lord's name in vain, that's his choice. Other than that, he can't control what you do. What he can also do while he's standing next to you, he's standing next to you, you can pick up a cat and you can punch it right in the fucking face. He can't do it. It's not he's not controlling what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do whatever you want. And I think that we do have this fine line of, like, here's what I think you mean. Do you mean this? Like, because we can't just say, like, well, I meant this and it was fine. Yeah. But he knows, I'm sure, goddamn well, it's you don't mean something bad.
It's like either I can get an argument with this guy, you know. It's like, how do I get an argument about my, you know, with a friend saying this bullshit that doesn't even doesn't even freaking matter. Yeah, I'm like, dude, why are you pushing this on? Like, he wasn't pushing it. It's just like the fact that he just, like, went out and said that, like, enough to say, I'm like, holy shit, like, you're the one who always talks about how people are always offended by so many things, and you go off to my face and say you were offended by this. I'm like, holy fucking,
I mean, people who point
Jesus
out,
Christ,
out,
Jesus fucking
Jesus
Christ.
H motherfucker.
I was like, holy crap. You know, I was like, it's not even worth it, because he's one of those guys. It's like, you know, when you meet those people that you just know that they have to be right kind of thing. They have to always be the, like, the one upper. He's not like saying I'm better than you, but he always is like, you like that restaurant? That's stupid. Yeah. Like, you need to go to this.
He's the one who knows everything about everything.
He's that guy.
He's got some experience.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, stop.
I'm not looking for advice, buddy. Like, cool. Like, that's your opinion. I think people don't understand that their opinions are not right. Yeah. Like your opinion that's what you think is you, just you.
Yeah. Man, and what the funny thing is actually about that is, like, he hates when he's like, oh, would you want this or this? I'm like, I don't care. He's like, what do you mean you don't care? And I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sexist. I'm like, dude, why are you being a girl right now?
Why are you being a girl?
Like, you're acting worse than my ex-girlfriend. Like, why do you want me to care so much about something that doesn't even fucking matter? And it's so trivial about the things that he cares about so much that everything almost has to be perfect. And I'm like, stop. You want to know why you have indigestion and stressed out and all this stuff? You know what? Being stressed and stuff and worrying about stupid stuff and that, dude, that fucks with your body. I'm sorry. It really does.
You sit here and you clench, you tighten your stomach, you tighten your muscles, you stress yourself out. We hurt our body when we try to just clench, like, I could be controlling that thing.
I feel like that's the one emotion, being stressed out, like how I used to be. I used to be so stressed out, like him, like, but I was younger. This guy's like freaking 47 or something. I'm like, dude, if you don't calm down really quick and just just start living life and stop caring about
what other people are doing.
Yeah, it's like,
well, I think that it's funny. I used to like overthink about like you can't control the outcome of other people, what other people do. Like I can't, no matter how this conversation goes, I can't control what you say, Ryan. Like I can't control how the end of this goes. Like I can't go and if you're a tennis player, you can go in and say either I'm going to win this match, or you can say I'm going to literally push to the 100% best of my ability. And those are like either you say I played my best and I won, or you say I put my eggs in the basket of I wanted to win or lose. Like you can't control the winning or losing. You can control going into it and giving it your best. So the same thing you can do with any conversation is you can go into it controlling only your end of the deal, and regardless of how much you want to convince the other person or tell them these magical words that you think will make them do what you want them to do or say, you never can.
Yeah.
That guy can't just make you not say Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because when you say Jesus Christ, it doesn't mean the same exact thing that it means to him.
Yeah.
He needs to understand that.
Exactly. Unless you're Tom Brady and just deflate the balls, dude.
Yeah.
Then you can win every single time.
Yeah, that's what I would do too.
I should have deflated the ball there.
Also, I think that maybe the ball should be a little smart, because I just bought a new basketball yesterday and I bought a 28.5, and apparently that's a girl's size. But like it feels real nice. It's a good size.
Dude, it's a good size. I mean, it's easy.
Keep going.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend the female sex about that ball being a lot easier.
But, sexist.
A little bit, yeah. But what's sad is I say that, but on a professional level, those women would kick the shit out of me. Like, there's no way. If I try to play basketball against them, again,
oh, dude,
I'm a very short man. But at the same time, being a man,
they would dunk you.
That whole thing about being a man or being a woman, whatever, sports-wise, it's like, dude.
Dude, that's the thing is, I've never really, until all this like sexism stuff comes along, I generally, I'm not kidding, I don't think I ever really thought of like women versus men in different, like women are better at men than this, or men are better at women than this. Like, sure, there's things that are obvious that men are just naturally stronger, like, or stuff like that. But I'm just always like, who is the best? Like, the best tennis player, it doesn't fucking matter if it's a girl or a guy. Like, who's the best? Like, who, like, versus each other, who is the winner? Who is, I think the sexism thing, like all the
it's a weird,
the like separation
subject,
thing is something that like, and I don't want to dive into it because it's very hard conversation.
Oh, it is. Right now, someone's.
It really is.
Whoever's listening to this right now is probably pissed at what I just said, but I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's a hard no, I mean, you don't need to. I don't, because you didn't mean any harm. Just like when you were saying Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's something that I agree that should be up for conversation. Like, if girls are actually out here like feeling offended by everything we say, like, fuck, dude, let's talk differently. Like, let's figure out a way we can talk differently. Yeah. But know that guys are out here, like, we're a couple of good dudes. There's nothing that we would say that would purposely hurt anybody. Like, we're not trying to hurt anyone.
Oh,
so
no,
if there's, like,
not at all.
Yeah, but so to me, I think that, like, when I think of sports or athletic ability, or like who's getting the promotion at work, like who in the Verizon company is getting the promotion, like, it's the person who's the best for the job. What
yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like, I don't care if they have a dick or a vagina. What are you talking about?
I don't care if they're freaking blind or mute.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if that guy can get it done, or that person can do a better job than you, that person deserves the job. I don't care who you are. Yeah. It's like that.
I think, I think a lot of the bickering, like that's a thing, like, where a lot of feminists and girls probably are, and I'm maybe talking my ass, I have no idea, but it seems like they're probably like, okay, cool, we get that, like, obviously, of course, but there is a thing that we have to actually think about, and I'm sure that there's people that are solving what we do about this. Same thing with racism. Men, a white man, our starting line of wherever we were at in the beginning of time, our businesses, wherever we're at, like, financially, sports wise, wherever, our starting line is up here, and women, and like, so like a white male, our starting line is up here. A black male, his starting line's down here, and we all go to the same thing. Women are somewhere back here. Like, white males literally do have, there is such thing as privilege. Like,
that white privilege.
Yeah. Like we've just had like, so the years we had, a couple hundred years during slavery, where white males were like, my ancestors, probably not my actual ancestors, but were doing well. while people who I have friends who are black who are my same age, their ancestors were literally probably slaves. So at the same time where I'm a white man, my ancestors are getting better in business, they're getting smarter, they're whatever, they're teaching their kids this. They have this starting line, whereas black people are back here.
Yeah.
Women, I think, are kind of back here with black people. So that is something as society, if that makes any sense at all, that we do probably have to, I don't know, figure out something. But again,
which they've been trying to figure out, but for some reason, someone's controlling this whole thing to where it's still the same. You know, it's like they've gotten pretty far with all the marches and all the you know, getting rid of segregation and everything else, but it's still how is it still here? You know, how have we
we're bringing it back, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, yeah. How are we still in the same state that we were in 60 years ago, you know?
We're like reverting back to it. I feel like we were out of it and we're like, cool, yeah, like we don't mess with segregation, and now we're like, and we're gonna reverse racism.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how that's all working out. I have not done enough research or enough. I don't have enough knowledge to even talk about this stuff. But you see it enough in social media, or, you know, well, I don't know now since I don't have social media anymore. But like at least in the news, it's like, how are we still talking about this? Why is this? Why is this still a problem?
Yeah, it's almost like it's not a problem, but they're like, hey, we need to distract you, or we need to like get you guys talking about some stupid shit. So they're just throwing it at us. It sucks.
Oh man, now, yeah. Oh man, now that makes me want to get into like freaking conspiracy theories. It gets me like in the news, and then thinking about all the shootings that have been happening again. It's like, man, if you need to check out that podcast called just called Conspiracy Theory. Oh yeah,
right. Okay, Ryan was telling me about this podcast. What was it again? Tell me one more time.
It's called Conspiracy Theories, and it talks about, well, they have like obviously the normal JFK, blah blah blah, all that, those type of like conspiracy theories about aliens and stuff, but most of the stuff is like actually like real things that happen in the news, like definitely like the what was that, and the shooting at the elementary, that huge one that happened like a few years ago.
Oh, Sandy Hook.
Yeah, Sandy Hook. They were talking about the conspircy theory about that.
Dude, it was a weird fucky shit.
You need to listen to it. It was pretty insane, dude.
So all that stuff, like, because I mean I love me a good conspiracy theory stuff. Like Shayla and I love diving into that stuff. It's fun.
Awesome.
It's you know, the funny thing is, a lot of it is like, it's not trying to prove whether there is 100% across the board truth or 100% across the board wrong. It's kind of like, hey, like, you can choose to believe in these things if you want. Like, you can say like, hey, that's probably real. Like, it's like what you're gonna do with it. Like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, what you can say like, hey man, this, like, Bush did 9/11. Like, what are you gonna do about it though?
Oh, that whole, like, everyone knows that was that was, you know, probably the most fucked up situation.
I know, but I'm not
besides
saying
JFK getting shot in the face.
Yeah, Jesus, I miss him. Didn't even know him, but like I don't know. I think that stuff's fun to believe because you can really toy with, like, man, like, you know what? I can believe what I want. Like, I'm gonna keep my sanity. Like, you know, I'm gonna. Like I know there's nothing I could do about knowing this information, but like maybe there is something I can do in my corner, you know, like like this shit. Like for me, it's like, cool. I've determined, like with all these conspiracy theories, like, yeah, it's fun, it's entertainment, but I've also determined that the government and our political system and our society is fucking liars. Like, it's dangerously liars. Yeah. And so if I can have little dorky platforms like this where I get some smart people together to teach people some cool stuff, we can start ignoring the news and start whatever, and we can start learning from, I don't know, I guess each other's intelligence rather. So it feels good to me, I guess. Ryan, I definitely, as much as I want to dive down into conspiracy theories, I definitely want to talk about, before we end here.
Okay.
Honestly, just like, so I had sent you that video. I wanted you on my podcast, obviously, as one of like the first few people. Like, I'm gonna have a ton of people on there, but I just wanted you, honestly, was your demeanor, like the way that you see life. You've always been a friend of mine that's like been so positive about everything in your life. You've also been like, I know you on a level to know that you're not always positive. Like, you've had your ups and downs. Like, you've certainly gotten through them. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that you are one of the most inspiring, like, positive, happy, always smiling people.
Well,
like
thank
like
you.
at your wedding.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many teeth in my life. Like you and your wife are just in your own little world of absolute positivity. Like at your guys' wedding, you guys are just literally just, I don't know if you're just having it like teeth comparing contests all the time, or if you're actually having a conversation.
We already discussed that contest. She has better teeth than I, but
you guys just like, I look over the whole time, you guys are just smiling and laughing at all times about, I don't know, something in your own little world, but it's just wonderful. So I think, I don't know, is there like what's your perspective on life, Ryan? Like, what do you?
Well, I would have to say, you know, I definitely have gone through a lot of things in my life, things that I would never wish upon other people, but at the same time I have had a great life. You know, it's one of those, like, you know, we can talk about depression and what I've been through, and things that have taken me down to a level I never ever want to be ever again, you know. But you know, that's just part of life. And, you know, I've just had a great group of friends, and I have a spectacular family that have always looked out for me, you know. And, you know, having those experiences for, you know, me, you know, it's trial and error, and then that's just life, you know. And it's whether or not you want to take those lessons in life. And, like, you know, this is, you know, the old saying, I hate it so much, but I had a friend that used to, like, an older friend that used to say this to me when I was back in high school. It's like, why do we fall down? Why do we fall down? You know, it's like, so you can pick yourself back up. And I hate it, but it has worked every single time. You know, it's whether or not you want to get up. And I do that, you know. That's every morning I get up, you know, go to work, make money, and go see the people. The thing is, you have to make, right now I suck at it, but I'm gonna get back into it again, is like, right now is hanging out with you. You know, you have to make the time. Make the time out for your friends, the people that you really enjoy your company, or the company that you enjoy the most. And that's what I feel is, like, always having people with you. You know, like, because you don't, like, not saying, like, some people don't have anyone, but, like, for me, it's like, it could be like your dog or whatever. Just hold on to something.
Find something you love and love it.
Oh, yeah. And love, like, find something you love doing. Find someone you love loving, and let that take you away, kind of thing. And that's how I've been living my life. The last, like, probably, like, 10 years maybe. Right. Like, you really find yourself, I say 5 years, last 5 years, that's what I've been doing. Because, you know, you always go through your 20s trying to figure out who you are still. Like, I don't care who you are, but, like, it's one of those, it's like, you're 25, you think you got things figured out, right? You're like, oh, I've really been through this, blah, blah, blah. But now that I'm 32, when I'm 30, I thought, like, hey, I know what's going on, these kids, blah, blah. But now I'm 32, and I'm still learning every single day on the right way to love my wife, the right way to love my family. It never, I will tell everyone, it never ends. Yeah, and you're always learning, or trying to learn. As long as you can get up every day, willing to live life, sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do, but you do it. You know, that's what I've learned, definitely being with Katie. Like, that she does a lot of things I don't like, but you know what, just go and do it. And you know what, and she's shown me a lot. You know, like, I would have to, I hate saying this, because she was definitely my saving grace. I had no idea what I was going to be doing until I met her. It wasn't because, like, oh, she saved me, now she's telling me what to do and, like, how to live life. It wasn't that. It was I found someone just like me. You know, I'm like, well, and it can help you pivot.
It could help you find yourself. Like, once you're able to be yourself around someone while they're being themselves, you're like, oh, now we've created something here.
Oh, exactly.
You know, I think, like I said, you know, I watched you guys at your wedding, just in your own world.
Oh, and we appreciate you for being there and freaking playing the songs.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to. I was happy to be part of it. We actually just talked about this today. We were talking about, Ryan's coming over, and we're talking about your band was so good.
Oh, dude.
Having a band at a wedding is so sick.
You know what? I was actually kind of scared about
that. Fuck DJs at a wedding, man. Fuck DJs.
No. Well, depending on how you want to fuck the DJ, but
yeah,
I mean,
if you're Shadley Morris, fuck a DJ. You know what I'm saying?
But no, you know what? I would have to say this: if you're gonna have a wedding, this is a side note. if you can find a good band, let me tell you, it's almost inevitable.
It was so fun, man.
It's inevitable that people
jamming.
Oh man, they were good.
Yeah, and so they just did a bunch of cover songs. They were kind of like more of like a funky vibe. Like there's even a few songs that I actually didn't really know, but it was just everybody was going to the vibe. Like I feel like once you take away with a DJ, I've noticed people really want to control things, and they think they can. We're used to it. We're used to being in our car and controlling Spotify, controlling whatever.
Yeah.
So at a wedding, people are like, hey, I want to hear the song. I'm going to go tell him to play that song. When it's a band, you can say, I'm here at this wedding. I want to hear this song, but I don't get to hear that song. Cool. Moving on. I'm just going to dance. Like you just, I guess, enjoy what's there rather than trying to contribute to it.
Exactly.
Which a lot of people with a DJ nowadays, people know a little bit about DJing now, and so people think that they should be contributing. Like I know what people want to hear right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone's a DJ now, and I don't like that. Like stop. But no, that band was awesome. And make sure if you do get a band, hey, get a good one like we did.
Get a good one.
You know, I mean, we just had, we were lucky. Katie's family has some money. Boom, we got a band.
Right. Yeah, no, they were good. They were enjoyable too. They were, and I'm also like, as far as wedding DJ, this is just like a random thought, I guess. You don't really need to know about this, but I do have a DJ, a couple DJs scheduled on the podcast right now. So we will talk about some DJ shit. Like we can talk about like, why does it suck to be a DJ at a wedding or like whatever.
That should be fun.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'm just already going into it negatively.
You shouldn't even get in a podcast about that. You guys should just make a YouTube video.
Well, I mean,
about that. That'd be so funny.
Well, so this whole podcast will be on YouTube anyway. So I'll be posting this on my YouTube as like different episodes, obviously, but I'll probably take clips. So after I have a few DJs on here, maybe I can make one big one and make a montage or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, just to route back to, I think that your demeanor, like thanks for sharing all that. I think you're right. Definitely something that you've always done. I have noticed, like the amount of people that I've met through you, the amount of cool ass people that I've met through you, like even your wedding, like even like, so like Brady, like I just met Brady at your wedding. Before. Like just meeting cool people through you attract good people. And I think that you're like the Ryan Santos secret to life. It's just like, I think what you do that you may not realize is you rip out the good in people wherever they're at. Like you, because you are so inherently good, you are so inherently, and by that I just mean no. Sorry, let me explain. But by that I mean you're just so naturally nice. You're so easy to talk to. You're so naturally your most positive self. You're so naturally people want to talk to you. I think that you bring that out in other people. Like, so I've known a ton of people because of you, and I'm better for it. And I think that you just said, a lot of your positivity comes from surrounding yourself with people you love. Yeah. But do you also think that it's because you, maybe without knowing it, you bring out that love, that inspiration in every person just by being so positively yourself? Because when somebody sees somebody like you're giving them permission to be the most positive selves because you're doing that. Like, do you ever consider that?
Yeah, sometimes I do. You know, it's one of those, how do I say? I think I took the, what my dad said to me a long time ago. I think I took this saying too seriously sometimes, but treat people the way you want to be treated, you know? And I took that really into heart because, you know, like a lot of people sometimes they don't understand what they're saying to someone. Definitely negative, or because it could to them they could be saying like, oh, I did this because out of love, and it's like, well, I don't think that you should have gone that way or said that negative thing about them. It's like, I'm doing this to like help them out. I'm like, no, that's I don't think that's the way you should talk to somebody about like doing whatever you're doing. But so the way I just go about like talking to people, like people want to be listened to, and that's the hardest thing to do when you're in a conversation, is listening to people. And you know, according to Katie, I still have that problem of listening. But she doesn't know anything though. Katie, if you listen, you don't know. But oh, I hope she doesn't. Katie, I love you. But anyways, You know,
have a good fight later, buddy.
Yeah. So like with people you don't even know, or people that I've known forever, I will sit there and listen, you know, and that's half the battle, is getting to know someone without you saying something to them. Because, you know, like right now, it's, you know, I love listening to you, and I don't want to say, like, sometimes I'll pause or something because I'm so interested of what you're saying, because obviously if this is coming out of your head, this is coming out from your head to your mouth, and it's out loud, obviously this is important to you. Because if I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you something important about me, or I have something important to say. And I think that's where I came from, like, where I start understanding people, why people, like, you know, like me and stuff, or that I'm positive or always happy, because, you know, I never, you know, when I'll say some stuff sometimes just to joke around, and sometimes it's kind of a dickish thing, but it's all in play, but people know that.
Yeah, they know you mean no harm.
Yeah,
like you would never mean harm.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So if I say something to you, I want it to be like not so much constructive or telling you how to live your life. It would be like, hey, you know, I'm just kind of suggesting something to you.
Like I want the best for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think like maybe this would help get the best. For you.
And so like either I give them the option to either you can listen to me or you can do whatever you do. I don't care. I just want you to be happy. I don't even care if I even barely know you. I just want, like, I don't want the worst for anybody. And that's the thing. I don't like seeing people sad, or seeing people like get so frustrated with life, because like, dude, I've been there, you've been there, kind of thing. It's like, how come we're not helping each other out? Like, how is this always like a case of I'm better than you than this, or
we're competing, like,
it's constant competing. And you know, it's awesome to see in sports and stuff, but like after that game's over, I mean, you're not the game anymore. You know,
you're not playing the game.
You're
the
human.
game doesn't represent you. You aren't that player anymore. Like, the game's done, you're not that player anymore. You are still a human. So like, whatever competition just went on,
and I think that's just how I just go about getting to know people, or why people think I'm smiling all the time. It's just because I'm here to have a good time. I only well, for me, I only get this one life to live. Why do I don't want to be, or why do I want to be an asshole? I don't have time for that. I just want to be happy. I want people around me to be happy. And if like someone like you notice that, I'm happy. That's awesome. That makes me feel like, wow, like someone noticed. You know, I'm like, actually living the life I want to live. It's like, oh, Ryan's so nice. I'm like, I don't care. It's like about that stupid saying, nice guys finish last. I'll finish last all day, every day. I don't care. I just want.
It's not about finishing last. It's not about finishing first. It's like, it's not even like, we're not racing, friends. Like, it's like, just about like, I'm just a nice guy. Like, you can race.
I'm just tired of all the stress. I just you know, I want to live, not trying to be hippie-ish, I guess, of living a free stress life and just like not caring. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, you know, there's a lot of things to be happy about in this life. Find it, let it take you home. That's how I've been living life.
I like that.
So
you gotta emphasize, like, there's always the shitty shit too. Like, there's always you know, when you're living life positively, like, there's always the option for, like, you know, there's always the person next to you that's like, don't you see that this is terrible too? Like, don't you see that, like, why aren't you mad about this? Like, what this is going on at the same time that you're happy, this is going on. Why don't you see that? But that's just the truth of life. Like, the same time that you are Ryan Santos, you're in the exact same situation as somebody else who is so frustrated. What's the difference? What is the difference? The situation has not changed. It's the exact same situation. The dude next to you is frustrated, and you're happy, and he's frustrated. The amount, it's not about just like pretending you're not frustrated, but it's about being able to say, like, okay, like, I don't want to be frustrated. That isn't what's best for me. And then from there, then you could be like, okay, so how can I do it differently? And then when you go about your day, just not concentrating on what frustrates you, or not concentrating on the thing that's obviously like, oh, this is obvious, aren't you mad about this? If you just concentrate on what's positive, I mean, it's
you know,
it's a lot better.
If you're gonna fuck up,
Yeah.
It's inevitable. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna say things that you regret. It's whether or not you want to go back and say, hey, you know, either I'm gonna make myself better. This is like what I see, and I know what it takes to be better. You know, or like you say some shit to someone that you didn't mean, dude.
Yeah, it's okay.
Own up, dude. Own up.
Talk to him about it.
Yeah. Hey, sorry. You know that.
Like, hey man, I kind of got mixed up in my words. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean that. Like, dude, honestly, a lot of times if you just talk to somebody man to man, tell them. Like, dude, I had a friend, like, not to derail this too much, but I had a friend who I had done something that she didn't agree with, that like it didn't match up to her values. It was something essentially with I don't even want to get into it. It was essentially something that she didn't agree with, but we're very good friends. She's a wonderful person. She considers me to be a wonderful person. So she literally came over to my house today and said, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Like, this is bothering me, something you did. And so we talked about it, and like, man, it just feels so much better. Like, it's just like being able to talk to it. Like, and it was so like, and I thanked her, like, thank you so much for like taking control of the situation.
Yeah, like,
so any listeners, if you're in a situation where it's like, you're like, cool, I want to be happy, like, that sounds great. I'd love to be like Ryan Santos. Cool. sounds great. Cool. So I just start being happy. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, like what you do is honestly these little things like that. Like, you like, hey, like, this thing I don't agree with, instead of being catty about it and texting someone and saying like, hey, fucking Ryan did this thing and it pisses me off. Don't you think that pisses you off too? We should agree on this. You literally, you talk to him about it. You take the things that bother you, things that piss you off, and you solve them, dude. You don't act on them.
Yeah. I mean, it could take like 2 to 3 days. Who gives a shit? As long as you find something, you know, like resolve something, you know, and not let it just sit there. Because after that, it's like you let it fester in your mind. You just get more pissed about it, and then you know, kind of the thing with the whole Jesus Christ thing. Maybe I should, you know, that's one of, you know, I'm kind of backtracking here, but it's like maybe I should talk to him about that. You know, It's like, I'm pissed about this. Like, it's actually like, it made me like kind of upset because he got upset about it. I'm like, dude, why would you do that?
Well, you're pissed because it's a misrepresentation of who you are.
Exactly.
It's not really fair.
So maybe I should. It's one of the it's like I'm not perfect. I'm not happy all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, I get frustrated. Katie gets frustrated with me all the time.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't know what's good.
Yeah, I know, dude.
If she's listening.
How are we married if she doesn't know it? If anything's good.
You're like, I want to crack a joke right now, but also I love you.
I love you so much. You chose poorly.
You are stuck. I always like to remind Shaylee, like, I'll do some weird shit and be like, this is forever.
Like, that's exactly what I do too.
Like, this is what you chose. Like, I'll just do some embarrassing shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's going on here.
I know. Like,
for a long time, you're here.
And I'm whispering in your ear about this. Love you. Good night.
Love you. Good night. All right, Ryan. Well, we're getting up here fairly long for time. I feel like we should at least take a break. If this is the end of the podcast, I'll record this. Ryan Santos, I love you very much. Thank you for coming on the Junk Colors
Jake
podcast.
Ryan, I love you a lot, and I really appreciate you for asking me to come onto this wonderful podcast. You know, I thought we were gonna run out of stuff to like talk about because we talked earlier. I was like, oh god, we talked about it. Dude,
that's what you think, but then it just goes. And
yeah.
A lot of times I'm like, is this valuable to listeners? But it's like, oh no, it is. Like, people like listening to like good people talk. You know,
yeah. Well, hopefully they don't get annoyed of my voice if they're like, 2 minutes in, I can't stand this motherfucker. Get him off right now.
When is the last time that you thought that? Like, when you were listening to podcasts? Oh, unless it was Jim Gaffigan. For some reason, his fucking voice, I'm not a fan. He's a casino comedian.
Yeah.
When I hear his voice, I'm like, I can't listen to this. But otherwise, everybody else, I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I like him, but like, yeah, I totally, his voice is like kind of whiny.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of the.
Have you ever listened to anybody's voice that, like so you're saying like, oh, my voice sucks, I'm self-conscious about it, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Like, have you ever actually listened to anybody where you're like, get this motherfucker off my podcast?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a few. As soon as like you just hear their voice, I'm like, nope.
Really, dude? I've never had it. I always thought I would have it, but I'm always like, I think about it for the first 30 seconds and then I forget about it.
Yeah, no. There's a few that I don't like. I just like just keep listening, whatever.
You gotta numb it out.
Yeah, I just kind of, you know what, this person has something of value to say to me. I just kind of have to endure. But yeah, talking about that, that's why I said that, because I've heard, I was recording something and I was talking in the background and I heard my voice. I'm like, there's no fucking way I sound like that.
Right.
I'm much cooler than I.
Dude, it's weird because it's so weird because we think of like, we hear it and we're like, oh, we think of all these things about ourselves. We hear our voice and we're like, oh, well, I'm nasally, I'm this, I'm that. Like, oh, I didn't realize I sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody thinks any of those things. They don't think about the opposite of those things either. They literally just say, that's a voice.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Like, that's a voice. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's funny how we're,
Yeah.
because I don't know, I guess I just noticed, like, I've been singing a lot. Like, I've been doing more singing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been taking like vocal lessons online and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I don't know, I'm shaking. I noticed that I'm shaking the like self-hatred of my voice.
Oh.
It's a weird thing that we have. Like, just talking, we're like,
Yeah.
I sound weird.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the one thing I still haven't gotten over, is that listening to your own voice, or listening to someone else's voice that I don't really like, but I do it anyways. There's something about it when I find that voice I don't like, and I'm like, what is happening? Why do you talk that way?
It's got to be a frequency that, like, we were literally like, I don't like that frequency of your voice. Okay, Ryan, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Ryan Santos, I love you very much.
Love
Give
you
me
too.
a fist bump right here. Give me a fist bump.
It feels good. Oh, do it again.
It's many more, brother.
Snail.
Oh, you snailed me, you
I
slippery son of
snailed
a
you.
bitch.
All right.
All right, Junkyard Love Podcast out. Have a good day, everybody.